What's good, y'all? I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast. Today we're going to cover something that this isn't entertainment for me or anything like that. Sit here and answer some questions. There's a lot of people hit me up wanting to know things on Telegram. You can go through some of the videos that we have out there. People are hitting, making comments in the videos. They want to know. They want to know this. They want to know that. These are folks I don't know. Uh, and then there are the guys in our brotherhood. There are guys that were a part of the city groups who are still out there, and a lot of them are out there, and they want to know what's going on. They already know. I've already spoken to the brothers out there. They already know. And then for those out there who may be watching this later, and you want to speak to me, if you were part of this, all you gotta do is reach out to me, reach out to you guys. I am more than happy to talk to you guys about what's going on. This is not a hit piece for anyone who's out there. This is not a hit piece. Um, I don't have a problem with Myron or Fresh. I don't. We're gonna get into that here, and when I'm done here, you guys will see that they had every right to be upset. Right? It comes down to leadership. It comes down to um, standing your ground pretty much. And it comes down to your individual moral code. Now, what we're about to talk here, man, this isn't life or death stuff here, guys. This isn't anything crazy. I've been through that sort of stuff, right? This is not that. But there's so many people in this social world out here. I mean, this is like how they get their entertainment. This is how their life is plugged in or whatever. So it is what it is. So we're going to get into that. There's not going to be any sound effects. There's not going to be, any of the stuff that we normally do. I'm not going to pull up any videos. I'm not going to do any of that. No intro video, no outro video, none of that. This is just getting this information out there for those folks who are curious and for those folks who were involved that wanted some answers, some clarification, So what we're going to talk about is the Fresh and Fit platform Council Club City Groups. This group was formed with the idea of bringing like-minded men together, well, like-minded people together in these various cities throughout the world, and very, 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 very successful in doing that. Like we were able to do it. Brother Pitney, I see you, fam. Yeah. And, I'm just, people saying, like, you're a side of it. It's like, hey, I'm just going to put this out. Let people see. Once we get into this, I probably won't be showing chats and stuff like that. All you guys are being in the chat. You can see what's going on. Maybe there'll be a point where I'll be able to kind of show all the chats. At the end of this, if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns whatsoever, ask me at the end. Don't ask questions now, because I won't be able to get to it. I won't see it. It'll get lost in the sauce. Wait till the end and ask any question you want to ask. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. And I want to state this again. This is not a Fresh and Fit hit piece by no stretch of imagination. No. And we're just going to get out the information. We're not going to be sharing anything that's not already out there. I'm not going to be showing anything. There's whatever's out there is already out there. You can find it wherever it may be. I'm just going to be speaking on what went down. And it's, at the end of the day, it comes down to, just leadership, making a call and sticking by it. So I did send a link to the generals. So the generals will have this link. So they might pop up on this show at some point. And if they do, I'll bring them up. I suspect that, of course, I'm going to be the main character in this particular story. We do have a villain in this particular story. I suspect the villain would be in the chat, right? I suspect that. And who knows? We'll see if the villain wants to come up and, talk about whatever it is he want to talk about. I'm at the end of this, when I'm done here and our generals are done speaking, I don't have a problem bringing him up, and I will even be nice. I won't say anything. I'll let him speak. And trust me, 2 days ago, I would not have been able to make that promise. So it's one of those things. So the reason I'm dragging on and dragging on, I just want to give people an opportunity to jump in here so they can, hear what's going on before we get started. I have about 8 bullet points I have down here. It's going to kind of take us through what went down. I'm going to start from the very beginning, and then we're probably going to end at the point where everyone knows what led to this, the catalyst to all this, right? We'll probably end at that point. So the bullet points we have is Myron asked for my help. That's the first thing. Jacosta and Jay the car guy, the generals, keys to the kingdom, the snake and the money, the lie and cover up, fallout and casualties. And we're going to end with Colt, brother Colt, because that is the only part of this that I feel bad about. Keeping 100. That part right there. You want to talk about unintended consequences. You want to talk about people getting caught up in the crossfire, casualties. That's what that is. And brother Colt's a stand-up guy. He's he is a hardworking brother, noble, a very noble man. And yeah, man. So we're gonna end with that. And then after I get to that point, if any generals want to speak, I got the links out there. If they jump on, I'll pull them up. And then after that, you guys, any questions you have at that point, you can put them in the chat and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And again, all of the guys, all of the brothers out there that were part of this, I've spoken to all of the generals, so they know what's going on. I've spoken to a lot of the just the general brotherhood, and they know what's going on. And I'm the kind of guy like, bro, I'm not trying to sugarcoat nothing. I'm just all in. Like, this is what we do. This is how we get down. And then backstage, turn your camera on for a hot second for me, brother. And then it's gonna be a while before I get to you, so you can after you turn your camera on, let me see who's back there. And then after you do that, kind of just chill out, get cool, just relax. Well, you got time. Before I bring people up, before I bring folks up, I'll make sure they cam up just so I can see who it is. And then once I bring them up, they don't have to show their face if they don't want to. Not that any of our brothers are afraid to show their face. It's quite the contrary. We don't worry about that. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's start with part 1, right? The first bullet point, Myron asked for my help. So about 4 months or so, 5 months ago, we heard about the Fresh and Fit platform wanting to build out this network of men in real life. And okay, cool, brother. All right, I see. Yep, cool. That's brother Tommy. Like, I'm gonna listen in the background. I'll come in later. Cool. Yeah, because I'm gonna go for a while. I'm gonna go up front. There's gonna be a lot of information I'm gonna put out here, and then we want to pull the generals up. So y'all have time. Don't at least an hour before I bring you guys up. So Myron came and he said, "Hey man, I'm building out this group. You heard what we were talking about." Because I heard about it. Me and my buddies up here in the Templars heard about it, and 2 of my Templar brothers were like, "Hey man, we're gonna join that thing." And I said, "Bet." I sent Myron a message like, "Hey, I got 2 of my guys. These are solid dudes. They're gonna join your organization. They're gonna join the city groups." And I'm gonna be here. I'm here. These are my guys. I'm here. Myron's response to that was like, "Cool. You can be in charge in Tampa. You could be a general." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever you need, bro. Whatever you need." So that's how I started. Mine was just like, "Hey, man, here's a guy that I know. He's been around, OG, bet. You can be one of the generals." So I'm like, "All right, cool." I told my guys, everybody was like, "All right, cool. We'll see how this plays out." So Myron sends me, no, someone is trying to reach me on X. I don't really rock with X. So Myron was like, "Hey, man, can you change your settings on X? I have someone who's trying to reach you," right? So that'll lead us into part 2, but we're not ready to get there yet. So Myron asked for my help, and it went from, he was like, "Hey man, you can run Tampa," to, "We need someone to run this whole thing and build this thing out." Right? We need someone to build this thing out. Can you help me out? Can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I can do this. Now I want to make something real clear here. Myron asked me if I would help him build this network. I said yes. His response to that was good. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I'll do your podcast because I want to add value to you. That was the first thing he said. And this was, like I said, 4 or 5 months ago. When we very first started this stuff, day one, he said, cool, thank you. And I will do your podcast. I didn't ask him anything like that. He was just, this is how Myron likes to give value. It's an equal value exchange for him. The Fresh and Fit platform is indeed valuable to some folks, like not so valuable to others. But there is absolutely value in what they're doing. Absolutely, there's value. Like, so if you were, if you're a 62-year-old woman, it may not be that, it may not be that much value for that person. But if you were a 22-year-old man, it's a ton of value, right? And I said, cool. Right, so we're gonna take this and like we're gonna go slowly and step by step. I agreed to build this network out for Myron and Fresh. Of course, they're a team, but Myron asked me to build this network. I've never built anything at this scale, certainly nothing global. So for me, it's a challenge. I like challenges, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I could do that. It'll be fun. Let's see what happens. And for that, he's like, I will do your platform because I want to add value. My brother Jay Swan's in the building. What's good, man? Just talking about everything that happened. There's a lot of people that want to know. Jay Swans know everything about this. I've already talked to him. You know what I mean? Yeah, and yeah. Jay Swans talk, Jay Swans is my guy. We go back 30 years now. I think it's 30. Served in the same unit, both airbornes. We jumped out of the same airplanes, gone the same mission. We won medals doing stuff all over the world. That's my guy. So I agreed to do this for Myron and Fresh, and I didn't ask for anything in return. Right? This is very important. I agreed to build out the network, and I did not ask for anything in return. All right? So the first thing you need to do when you're going to do something like this, right? Your paperwork has to be in order. You need a foundation. If you're going to build anything, you need a foundation. Your paperwork needs to be in order. The first thing I told Myron and I told Fresh, like, bro, we need to know, they need to tell me how you want to structure this. I said, do you want this to be a nonprofit? Do you want this to be a C Corp? Do you want this to be an S Corp? Do you want this to be an LLC? I see you back there, Wes. I'm going to be talking for a minute, bros. I'm probably going to talk for about an hour before I bring you up. So you got time, fam. How do you want to structure this? Do you want a variant of these things? Right? You can do a holding corp, which is nonprofit, and then you can have LLCs, which are the subsidiaries of these different city groups. Why do we need the paperwork done? Because we need accounts. We're going to need, this organization is going to have to move money at some point, and we're going to have accounts. We're going to have people in charge of said accounts. It's like, Myron, we need to talk to your man. What is it, Steve, the accountant? We need to talk to him. We need to talk to your legal team to figure out how we're going to structure this thing. We need to do that first. That needs to happen. In the meantime, we're going to continue with the organization. So that was right off the rip. Right off the rip. So that needs to be done. But in the meantime, we're gonna, I'm just gonna jump in like paratroopers do, feet first, and get in here and get it done. So let's move on to Jacosta and Jay the car guy. So again, I'm gonna keep reiterating this because I want people to understand I'm not in this for the money, right? I did this because a friend asked me to help him out, and I was okay with it. I wanted the challenge of building out this network. So Jacosta sends me a message on X, Twitter. I don't rock with Twitter like that, right? This is the very night that Myron asked me to help him. When I said I would do it, Myron hits me back. He was like, hey, man, can you change your settings in X I have someone who needs to get a hold of you there. I said, all right, no problem. I was like a Friday night. I was out doing my thing. I jumped back in my car before I was, going into the places I was going into because they're too loud. And I changed the settings on X, and bam, there are messages there. It's this guy named Jacosta, and this guy is like, hey, I'm working with Myron, and this is what we're doing. So Jacosta was already going out, basically vetting generals, interviewing guys. I don't know what the criteria was. I don't know how that was set. I assume that Myron and Jacosta worked out this plan, and Jacosta was executing the plan. He was going, and he's telling me, he's bringing me up to speed. This is how many cities we have at this point. These are our generals. Myron wants, here's a list of the cities that Myron wants to start with. And it was, like San Francisco, LA, Las Vegas, Houston, Dallas, New York, Chicago, Tampa. I might be missing a couple, but at first that's where we are. I said Chicago. Ohio was in there. We had an Ohio guy, which would have been Cleveland, I believe it was at the time. He was at Cleveland or Dayton, one of the two. So Atlanta was on that list. So we had cities and generals, right? And it's like, okay, so this is starting to come along. It's pretty much this begun with, without me. I'm kind of coming in late. So I said, all right, cool. Jacosta brought me up to speed on everything. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, so let me, introduce me to the generals. Let's figure this out. So everything at this time was on X. In order to be involved in this, you had to have a profile on X. All the information was disseminated via X. So Jacosta, Myron, already working on this. So Fresh hits me up, right? This is all within the first month. Fresh hits me up. Hey, I got a guy out of Texas named Jay the Car Guy. He's my dude. He's helped me with CEO Network. He's taking care of that. He's a sharp guy. Need to make him a general. I'm like, all right, Fresh, got you. So all of our general slots were fixed. This dude is in Texas. We got 2 cities in Texas. We got generals. We're already putting people in there to get membership. Like, we already have that set up. I don't have a spot for Jay the Car Guy. However, I understand that this is Fresh's guy. Jacosta is Myron's guy. Right? So I need to figure something out. The solution was a no-brainer. I'll make a position for Jay the Car Guy. We made a position, I think we called it coordinating general. Jay the Car Guy is coordinating general. So just to give you an idea now, the structure is starting to take shape. You have Myron and Fresh, you have DL Saint, and then you have Jay the Car Guy and Jacosta. DL Saint in command, executive officer is Jacosta, and number 3 in charge is Jay the Car Guy. Jay the Car Guy came on with a ton of great ideas. He came on with, like anyone else, he's going to come in a ton of great ideas. And there were some ideas that I didn't quite like. But 80% of what Jay the Car Guy said was solid, and we went with it. He'd been working with CEO Network. I don't know how many members of CEO Network were in the group at this time. I think it's somewhere around 100, somewhere in there. Don't quote me, but I mean, it was a good number. And he's saying, hey, man, we use Telegram, and Telegram is a great platform because you can use all these restrictions and you can upload all this information and you can disseminate and do whatever you want to do. You can have admins who have all kind of power to do this and that. Right. I was like, oh, snap. I didn't know anything about this. I'm learning. This is why you want to do these type things. And again, guys, I just want to let you know, I see everyone in the chat. I salute to all my day ones. Salute to everyone's in there. I appreciate y'all. But I'm not going to be able to do what we normally do. You're not going to hear any sound effects. You're not going to hear me pulling people up. And at some point, I'm going to try to show all y'all messages, y'all chats at some point. But we got a lot of information to put out. So just forgive me for that. Tomorrow we'll be back to normal. But today we're going to get through this. So Jay the Car Guy came with some damn good information. He came with CEO Network guys that were joining, and we're putting them in cities. So it's like, all right, cool. Now at this point, we're starting to see the membership, and we're starting to see the excitement, and people really want to be involved in this thing. And it was Castle Club only. In order to be a part of this, you had to be in Castle Club. Now, here's the thing. Very early on, told Myron and Fresh, it's like, hey, this needs to be exclusive. Yes, this is under the Fresh and Fit banner, but this is not like Castle Club membership does not guarantee you membership into the city groups. This was supposed to be something different. So in order to be considered for the city groups, you must be a member of Castle Club. And then if you want to join the city groups, we're going to do our own vetting process, because the Fresh and Fit platform has a lot of people that want to hurt them. They want to, destroy their platform, all that good stuff. It is what it is. You see the hit pieces. It is what it is. People would love to get in there, see what's going on, say what they're going to say, clip some stuff, screenshot some stuff, and go out there and do what they're going to do in the YouTube spaces or whatever, in social media. So like, hey, man, we got to figure out a way to do some form, some process to where we can at least see who we're letting in these organizations. So we got the generals on board, and every step of the way, I, was always transparent with the generals, putting out information. You guys know, military background, paratroop, this is how we do business, right? I don't like to operate on a need to know. I mean, there is that, there is need to know at the highest level, understand that. But for my generals, I gave them as much information as I possibly could, so they can help me make decisions and move forward. The generals and I, we had meetings, we would use Zoom. At one point, Jacosta, like, he had Zoom, but it was like the basic, you can only have it for so many minutes, and then whatever, what the basic Zoom is. I don't have Zoom, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And Jacosta, being my executive officer, is like, all right, he's like, man, I need to get the professional package of Zoom, because we need to have everyone, and these meetings are going to take a long time, and we need to be able to pull more people in there. I mean, it was like 100 limit or something, like they could have 100 people in or whatever. And I said, all right, cool. And he's like, I'm just going to pay for it. I was like, nah, don't do that. Let me reach out to Myron and see if I can, see if we can get something for you. So I said, I reached out to Myron, send Myron a text. Hey, Myron, Jacosta has Zoom, as you know, but he doesn't have the pro version. He needs the pro version. I think it's like $260 or whatever for the year. I don't think it's right that he pays for that. Whatever it costs, I forget what it costs, guys. You guys could tell me whatever it costs, but whatever the pro version of Zoom was, and this was very early on, guys. We're still in the first month. Myron hits me back. How much is it? I think it was like $169 or something like that, maybe $200. Myron was like, how much is it? I told him, and he's like, have Jacosta send me his Cash App. I said, okay. Jacosta sends Myron the Cash App. Myron sends him the money. Solved. We needed Zoom. Myron knew that we were doing this for him. Jacosta and Myron have already been working together. And yeah, it was strange to me that Jacosta just didn't reach out to Myron on his own, but I'm in command. So, okay. We got that solved. Problem solved. We needed that for the organization. Jacosta now would drop links and was the guy who was doing all of the Zoom stuff. Now, just as a side note, as the generals came on board, the generals started doing that on their own. The generals were investing not just time, but money into this organization. That's going to be important for later. And the generals were doing things, and it's not like I was in every conversation. The generals were doing stuff like, I'm just going to get this done. I'm going to do that. I'm investing. This is how men are. When men commit to something, we come together. This is how you get stuff. This is how the world got built. This is how this became a thing. This is how we have cars. This is how your home was built. This is how the skyscrapers were built. This is how we went to the moon. Put a bunch of men together in a room, and they might say some shit like, you know what? You see that space rock out there I see every night, man? I want to walk on that. Dudes are like, let's get it done, right? We're going to have to hire some Germans who did some bad things a few years ago, but they're efficient. So let's get it done, right? So that's how it works. Uncle Luke, I see you, bro. I see you. And again, anyone who's in here, do not send me any questions now. If you got any questions of me or what's going on, don't send any questions now. Write it down, right? When I'm done at the end, I will answer all your questions. Right? So I just don't send them now because it'll get lost in the sauce. I won't be able to pull it. You feel me? And I see everyone in there. Brother Mandrell, Brother Luke, Uncle Luke. We got Brother Pablo in there. I see everybody in there. Based Oracles in there. Yeah, the flat moon. You're stupid. So I appreciate you guys. So Myron gave the money to jacosta to get Zoom. This is how we're talking to all our generals. We wanted to solve for the problem of not just letting any old body in. How are we gonna do this? I'm like, well, we came up with the general. All of us decided, you know what? How about we do a vetting process where we talk to these guys on camera, and you can do all this on Telegram. That's why Telegram is such a great platform for what we were trying to do. So anyone who wants to join, we give them a link. That link takes them to a room on Telegram, which we labeled the waiting room. You sit there in that waiting room with everyone else who's trying to, get involved, and we will schedule a time where we would do a Zoom call and put you in. Jay the car guy was the guy, the catalyst behind it. He was like, bro, this is how we do it. You can do a Zoom call. You can have up to like 20 guys in the room at a time, and then you can verify the information you need to verify, because that's the big thing. Just make sure that you're a part of Castle Club. Once we verify that you're a part of Castle Club, you were basically in. I wanted to take it a step further. Like, now I want to talk to you, right? I don't want to just verify that you're in. I want to sit down and have a quick chat. I want to kind of see where your mind is to make sure that, you know what's going on. You understand what's happening, right? And you get to see someone. It's not like we're just blindly shoving people into these rooms. You get to see someone. There's going to be a face attached to this network. So Jay the car guy had a great idea. And then early on, we had so many people. I mean, we had hundreds of people trying to get in. Jay the car guy and jacosta were working really hard to vet people. And I was in there talking to folks. We were doing our thing. And we, it was work. This is what we're doing. This is what we signed up for. At least this is what I signed up for. This is the process of building this thing out. We're getting our city groups built up. We're getting our membership built up. We had cities that we can get him into. So if you got a guy from Minnesota and he wants to join, it's like, well, we got Chicago, we got Cleveland, we got New York. Which one works for you? Which is closer? Like, oh, I'll take Chicago, or New York works for me, or Cleveland, whatever. We were doing that. But what we wanted to do was get people in the city closest to them. Right. So if you were in Atlanta, but I want to join the Tampa group, it's like, you're in Atlanta. You want to be in the Atlanta group. So we were kind of doing that. Once we figured out the vetting process, jacosta and I got it down to a science where he would verify their Castle Club membership and then schedule a time to talk to me. That's how that worked. So jacosta was doing the verification. Okay, they're Castle Club members, paid members. Jay the car guy showed us how to do it. Shout out to Jay the car guy. I'm not even going to perp. Shout out to Jay the car guy. He is squared away on what he does. The thing is, he's not good at working with others. Jay the car guy is used to being on his own. He's doing what he's doing. Y'all follow what he's doing. Do what I say. He's not used to working in a team. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Some things happen, like you got to be able to work into a team. And I'm really big on unit cohesion. Right? That's my thing. I'm used to working in small units in the Army. We have tactical teams that we were on. There's only 4 of us most of the time. And your team better be together, because you out there on some mission, it's just y'all. So I'm really big on unit cohesion. I'll come back to that in a second. So we got this verification process down. It got to the point where from 8 until 10 p.m. every night, I was doing calls. jacosta was setting them up. It worked out pretty good. Most calls lasted about 2 to 3 minutes. Some went over 10 minutes. Sometimes people had questions or they just wanted to talk to me. There were a lot of guys who were just really excited to talk to someone. Man, I've heard Myron and Fresh talk about you, seen you on the podcast. I've seen you out there. I've seen the social media. Man, a lot of them was like, I can't believe I'm talking to DL Saint, which was a value add to this organization. Most of the time when you're doing an organization, man, you're not going to meet any of the guys that you see on TV. You're going to be meeting folks and you ain't never heard of. You ain't going to see anybody. It is what it is. But I believe that this was a big value add. And I can also tell the guys, hey, this organization is about meeting in person. You need to get outside, get into the trenches. This is not an organization where you're going to be sitting behind your computer saying what you got to say. And one of the biggest things we were doing early on, this is not a Discord. It took us a month, maybe a month and a half, to get that out there and to get these men on board with what we are doing here. This is not a discord, right? Again, this wasn't a guarantee. In order to be considered for the city groups, you had to be a member of Castle Club. Then we can put you into city groups, right? But if you ain't doing what we need you to do, if you're out here acting wild and out, being a weirdo, we'll kick you out the group. Simple as that. Thanks for playing. Get your shit together. Try again later. We would kick you out the group. So we had this down to a science. So keep in mind, we got two guys. Myron has a guy that's jacosta, and Fresh has a guy that's Jada Car guy. I understood this, made complete sense to me. And I knew, like, I'm just building this thing up. I'm not going to be doing this forever. I had that conversation with Jada Car guy. I was like, yeah, man, you seem pretty sharp and you got knowledge. You've been doing this for a while. You'll probably be taking my spot. I'm not going to be doing this forever. Right? I'm just here to build this thing up. My mission is to build this network. And that's what we're doing. Now we're into it, guys. Now we're about 2-3 months into this thing. All the generals are putting in work. Every city group had subtopics in their city group, and every city group had their own leadership. Right? So it wasn't just, you got Myron Fresh, DL Saint, jacosta Jada Car guy, but then you have your generals, but then your generals had their leadership teams. So do you see how the structure and the buy-in was from me down? Everyone was bought in. I promised the generals, and they'll tell you that this is the truth. I said, hey, bro, each city group is autonomous. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to support you. You tell me what you need, and I'll go get it. And if I can't get it, I'll tell you why, and we'll figure it out. So if LA, we started out, we had San Francisco and LA, right? And I told the generals, I said, hey, I don't think, for this is going to be a heavy lift. This is a big ask. What we have you guys doing, this is a big ask. I will not think any lesser of any man who steps down. And we had some generals who hit me up like, man, I didn't realize it was going to be this intensive. I have to step down. No problem. So that was my role, to maintain and manage groups and do what needed to be done. Make sure we had generals, make sure our generals got supported. Like if, New York and LA were our biggest groups as far as members, both had over 100 members. I think Cleveland was one of our smaller groups. So I don't have to worry about the big groups. I need to focus on the smaller groups. Let's get as much support to our general in Cleveland. Let's figure out what we need to get them together, and let's solve for these problems. That's what I was focused on. I'm not focused, and I'm in every group. I got full admin. I'm looking at stuff. I'm looking at everything, and I can see stuff. I would go into groups and I would see some comments being made, and I would talk to the generals like, hey, bro, I'm not telling you what to do, but I have concerns about member so-and-so. This brother is saying things that can get us hurt. They're posting things that makes us look bad. Understand, Fresh and Fit platform is on the government watch list. Anything affiliated with them, trust and believe the feds are in here. I don't mind having federal folks in here. I want them in here. I want top tier men involved in this. But if you got somebody who's a sure enough weirdo posting these type images, remember, right? Our names and faces are on this. And that would be all it took. The generals was like, bet. And they took care of it. Like, bet. You can't be saying this. Right? So we're really into this, guys. Now we're 2-3 months into this. We still don't have our structure down. We still don't have the paperwork that I told Myron and Fresh. I need to decide on this. I can't decide on this for you. At one point, Myron was like, just get it done, man. I was like, y'all got to take care of this. And it's not cheap to do the paperwork. It's not cheap. You're talking about registering at the time at least 20 entities in various states, and we're starting to become international. We're in Tokyo, like, so we're in Japan. I'm like, bro, I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know what the laws are pertaining to that. We need professionals at this point. We want to make sure that this thing is structured properly, even if it means that we don't structure international. We only structure our national chapters, and then once that's solved, then we figure out how we're going to do the international chapters. And again, don't take my word for it. Go look it up yourself. How much does it cost to register as a foreign agent, your company, in various states? How much does it cost to do the paperwork to become a C Corp or an S Corp or LLC or even a DBA? It costs money, right? One of the things I told all the generals, when we first started, I said, listen, there's one thing that I want you guys to do. I need each chapter to raise $1,000 every year that will be sent to the Castle Club, Fresh and Fit platform. And a lot of generals were like, I just pay that right now. I'm like, nope, I don't want you to pull out a check and just pay the money. I would like you guys to get together, put your heads together and figure out ways to raise that money. And I'm like, the $1,000 is nothing. You guys really should be raising tens of thousands of dollars, but the $1,000 is a buy-in. It just lets us see who's serious about this. And that money goes to the Fresh and Fit platform, which to me, I thought it was fine. Myron didn't like the idea. When I proposed the idea to Myron, he didn't like it. Fresh, it made sense to Fresh. He was like, all right, cool, to buy in, whatever. Guys, $1,000 is not a lot of money. And some people out there like, but y'all had over 20 cities. That's $20,000 a year. I know, man, but there's levels to this, bro. I'm here to tell you $1,000 is not a lot of money, okay? I'm just keeping it real. But it's a buy-in. And you're going to see which men are serious about this network. So guys are like, well, how do we go about raising this money? I'm like, well, you can have a happy hour at a bar. Like maybe go to a bar, talk to the owner and say, hey, we're going to have this happy hour. I'm going to bring in about 20 or 30 people. Can you put some drink specials on the menu for that night? For 2 hours, we'll have the Frank Castle, or we'll have the Punisher, or we'll have the the Holy, whatever. You can just make these drinks up. Ask the establishment to put these drinks on, a special menu for that night. They can add $2 to $3 per each drink. Y'all get that money. The city group would get that money. Right. So the establishment is happy because guys are coming in there buying food, buying other drinks, but they're coming in also buying these, Castle Club themed drinks, and you raise money that way. So that money could go into the coffers for the city group. This money was designed to go to Fresh and Fit. Just the initial 1,000, and then anything over that will stay with the city group. The city group will need money so they can have more elaborate events. Just imagine, let's say, for instance, that you got a city group in Cincinnati, Ohio, and you want to bring George Gammon. Even if George Gammon is willing to speak for free because he knows Myron and Fresh, and he's going to do them a solid, you still got to pay for his hotel and accommodations. You got to pay for the flight. You got to put him up. I mean, if you don't do that, you're just a deadbeat. Ask this man to come speak and not pay him a dime. No. So that was the reason behind that. All the generals understood it, and all the generals accepted it. And then I was like, so just come up with ways to do it. There were all sorts of ideas out there. There was ideas on merchandise. So like, hey, we can do merchandise, Castle Club Hawaii. These guys were firing up the old AI machine, getting these really cool logos and stuff like that. And they were labeling their cities. I mean, you want to talk about 100% buy-in. It was 100% buy-in. It was a beautiful thing. I'm sitting around patting myself on the back like, man, I can't believe I was a part of this. This is amazing. And most of all, these guys are doing it in real time. They're meeting up in the real world. They know each other. They're breaking bread, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, yeah. They was like, can we do this? Can we sell merch? I said, hey, let me run that by Myron and Fresh. Hey, as we give them that mandate to raise $1,000. These guys came up with some ideas. They got some real cool ideas on merchandising and all that. Can they sell that? Myron and Fresh were like, yeah, initially, yeah, good. That's cool. They gave the green light. I said, yeah, Myron and Fresh said cool. So they're doing their thing. Right. One of the guys were like, hey, this football season is coming up. I'll probably do like fantasy football just within our organization. And a part of the proceeds for the fantasy football thing will go into the coffers for the city, and then the rest, of course, you run it like you run it. Prize money, first place, first, second, third place, whatever. But the guys would know, like, yeah, we're making this investment, we're having fun, but this is how we're going to raise this money. Those are just a couple examples of what the brothers are out there doing, right? Taking care of business. So proud of these men. You know what I mean? That's one of the beauties of being in leadership. You get to sit back and watch your men do their thing. I was so proud. Like, all right, this is cool, right? There was also an idea to, do a basketball tournament, city versus city. We're gonna pick a city, go in. We have a big basketball tournament. All the cities put in money or whatever, and that portions of that money will go to the city groups. But then we get together and play basketball and get bragging rights and stuff like that. That was part of it. So now you see what's going on. You got an issue, you throw it out here, right? You got an issue, you throw it out there, and folks understand what we are doing. Like I said, Kevin Samuel said this: when men get together, bro, great things happen. I say, your sister Sarah, thank you for having me on your show. I ain't gonna lie, girl, we gonna talk. we gonna talk, girl. We gonna talk. But thanks for having me on. I do appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. So that is what was going on with the generals. Anything major that came up, which maybe 2% of the time, let's say 7%, 7 to 10% of the time, I would probably have to take it to Fresh and Fit to get approval on whatever it is we're trying to do. But 95% of the time or so, 95% of the time, I was making the decisions. I was making those decisions with my generals, and we were just moving forward and doing what we do. It was going great. So that was Jacosta and Jay the Car Guy. Now with Jay the Car Guy, like I said, he didn't work well with others. The way I'm talking now, I'm happy-go-lucky. Y'all know me. I crack jokes. I do whatever. But I'm a retired air traffic controller, and I'm a paratrooper, bro. There's a side to me that's extremely serious. You don't want to make my job harder. If you become a problem for whatever it is you out there doing, you got to understand something. You're a nail, and I'm a hammer. If you become a problem, I will nail you down. Simple as that. Jay the Car Guy, and this is not no shade to him, it's just we're talking the facts. Jay the Car Guy doesn't work well with others. He was beginning to be a problem. He was beginning to make my job harder. I talked to him about it, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna do better. He kept doing his thing, and I got rid of it. I'm like, all right, bro, this ain't gonna work. So we don't need a coordinating general anymore. He's gone. Fresh hits me up. Hey, bro, I need you to, put him back. I said, nah, Fresh. Like, nah, he's a problem, bro. He was like, no, man, I need you to put him back, man. Do me a solid, put him back. I said, all right, I'm gonna take care of it, Fresh. I'm gonna take care of it. That was it. I'm gonna take care of it. So we knew at some point the city of Miami would have to be opened up and have its own general. Even though Jay the Car Guy was in Texas, I was like, well, look, this guy's a problem for me. I'm going to open up Miami. Jay the Car Guy is going to be the general. Miami is now the flagship city of the city groups. So now Jay the Car Guy's freshest problem. We opened up Miami. My brother Wes didn't like it. Like, as Tampa was doing good. Tampa was all of Florida. He was growing like crazy. Wes did not like it. I'm here to tell you. He came to see me. That's my people. He came to see me like, Unc, what you doing? I'm like, do me a favor. Like, you trust me? He was like, of course I trust you, Unc. Like, well, let me take care of this, and then I'll brief you. I'll brief you when it's done. And to his credit, he sat there and he was like, well, all the way. I'm like, all right, airborne. So we opened up Miami a little prematurely. Jay the Car Guy's in charge, even though he's from Texas. And in my mind, I'm like, my problem is solved. Jay the Car Guy is now Fresh's problem. I told Fresh I would fix it, and I fixed it. And guess what, guys? It worked. Right? It worked. Miami was doing whatever Miami was doing. I didn't look in on Miami. That's the flagship city. Fresh is there. Jay the Car Guy is there. Surely they can handle that. I'm handling all the other ones. I'm handling all of Ohio. I'm handling America, Canada, Australia, UK, Japan, along with my leadership team, we're doing fine. So that's Jay the car guy and jacosta. All right. We touched on the generals a little bit. Let's drill down on the generals. All right. These generals are some of the best dudes I've ever worked with. Hands down. I was looking forward to meeting each one of them in person. We work so hard together. And to me, I don't know you until we break bread. That's just how I am. We're associates until we break bread. But with these generals, bro, so proud of these men and the work that they were doing. They didn't ask for shit. Nothing. What they did was build out this network, build out this brotherhood. They ensured that our mission was accomplished. And our mission was simple. And I told the generals the first meeting, our mission is to help men. Full stop. That's our mission. 100% buy-in. Whatever I asked of them, they did it. Never questioned me. Never. I mean, sometimes we had to figure out, okay, how's the best way to attack this or attack that? But they never questioned me. I didn't tell them, like when it came to their groups, they took care of business. But we had weirdos that made it through the, the vetting process. So we had to deal with that. Now I'm thinking, shit, that's more paperwork that needs to be done. We don't have a mission statement. We need a mission statement for this organization. We don't have a code of conduct. We don't have a discipline table. We don't have any recourse for people who might catch discipline. We don't have a review board, a review process, nothing. So I'm like, shit, I got to get that sorted out too. Send it to Myron and Fresh. Didn't get a response. I did not get a timely response. So, okay, we're going to put this to the generals. This is what we need to do. Right? And we're talking to the generals. LA was like, bro, we already got that settled out. We already got that sorted, bro. We got non-disclosures out here, bro. We got we got it all sorted out. Tampa was like, yeah, man, we do background checks, man. We're doing stuff. We're going to the range. We're out here doing like stuff that, people got to sign waivers. Like we got that sorted out. This is how the generals like, bro, you mentioned something or they see something needs to be done. They were just getting it done. I'm like, cool. I'm like, keep pushing forward with that. Send me what you have as far as documentation. And I'm gonna forward this up to Myron and Fresh. Because I can't make the determination. Again, it's not my organization. I'm doing this for someone. So the paperwork stuff, I can't stress this enough, guys. The paperwork stuff is so important, right? Your paperwork isn't right. It is so important to get it right. So the generals are already on it. I'm sitting there. I'm talking to people that have nothing to do with this. I'm talking to my man, Jay Swans, because that's my brother for real. And he's like, what about the paperwork? I'm like, yeah, bro, this and this and that. And he was like, well, I can help you structure some bylaws. I can get you a mission statement. Like if it's just you, bro, I would do this for you, but come on, man. Like I can't do this for free. I'm like, I know. So hold off on that. Don't do that. I'm working with these people over here. I'm gonna let them know this is what's needed. So hold off on that, bro. This is just my friends trying to do me a favor. I'm like, no. This is my thing. Hold off on that. Right. So, all right. We need all this paperwork. Right. We're starting to have some issues with some members who are bad actors. And our generals are doing what they had to do. Now, the way that worked, I told my generals, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to back you 100%. You decide to kick someone out, decide to suspend somebody, whatever you're going to do, I'm with you. Just let me know what's going on. So when they reach out to me, I won't be surprised by it. And I already know what time it is. And that happened multiple times, guys. I ain't gonna lie. For the amount of people we had close to 1,000 guys involved in this. We had we had less than 10 real bad issues with members, less than 10. Like we had 1,000 guys. So we were doing really well. I remember once, just to give you an idea of some of the stuff we were dealing with, I remember once we had, it was a verification issue. Jacosta was trying to verify a guy doing a video. This is back when he was still doing video calls. After this, he stopped doing video calls and we switched to the process where I did all the video calls. He did the paperwork. So it was this kid in the Northeast. He was like, man, I don't know about this dude, DL. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you need to talk to him. You need to do this. You need to do the verification. I said, all right, set it up. He sets it up, and I get this guy on, bro. The brother turns on his camera, and right away I'm like, oh shit, I see what Jacosta was talking about. Either this kid is like Michael Turing smart, he's, you know what I mean, he's like Elon Musk smart, or he's an axe murderer, bro. It was like one or the other. Like this dude right here, like, oh my God, either he is extremely brilliant or extremely weird. Got to talking to the brother. You know what I mean? Got him to loosen up, pause, got him to laugh a little bit. And I realized that this is just a kid who's trying to figure it out. He's a genius. He was at a college, he's a very competitive college. He was in STEM. The kid's a genius, Dean's List, doing his thing. But he's a young guy, and he was like, gotta maintain my frame and da da. And I was like, once he relaxed and he smiled and we could start talking, squared away, brother. Squared away. I'm like, oh man, you good, bro. You good. And I told him when our conversation was over, I'm like, hey man, don't be looking so intense when you go out, bro. These girls might be thinking you're gonna chop them up and put them in the box or something. They may gonna wind up in a hole somewhere. You spraying them with water, it puts the lotion on his skin or it gets the hose again. That's what they thinking, bro. You got that look. I'm just saying. And he's laughing or whatever. But that's what we were doing. We were helping one another. Hey man, tone it down a little bit. You don't have to be this intense. And he was listening. He was like, I know, I'm really bad in social environments. And that's why I want to be a part of this organization, because I know I need to work on that. He's like, I'm not worried about money. I'm not worried about my career. I'm not worried about my future, but I do need to figure out the social part. And he's not the only one. Again, patting myself on the back, loving this. This is great. This is a young man. We're able to help him with this one thing. I bet you next time I see that dude, bro, he's probably gonna be a multi-billionaire. I swear to God, this guy is so squared away. So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing with our generals. These men putting in the work, putting in the time, putting in the money, right? I kept drilling down on, man, make sure you're getting out there doing events. All of them like, yep, we're doing events, checking in with me, sending pictures. We went here, we went there. We're out here, hiking. We're out here doing PT, like physical training. We're out here at the range. We're out here at a dinner date getting dressed up. You know what I mean? We're out here doing these things. Each general brought so much to the table. There was, even Colt would tell you, before he became a general, Colt was about to make this move, this professional move. And he's like, hey, is there anyone out there that knows about this particular thing? I'm about to make this move, and I want to know if I'm doing the right thing, thinking about moving my family across the country to pursue this profession or whatever. Our Vegas general was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hit me up ASAP. Hit him up. And the Vegas general was able to tell him, like, yo, this shit right here is kind of a scam. This is what they told you. This is probably the name of the company. This is what they didn't tell you. This is how it's going to work out. Right? Just be careful. And Colt was like, man, that saved me so much. So much. Imagine if we didn't have this network. Imagine if these guys didn't get a chance to talk. Colt might have jacked himself up. Right? Colt might have jacked himself up. But we had this network, and this is why the generals were so important. This is why this network was so important to the men involved in it. This is why it's not a network to them, it's a brotherhood. They call each other brother. The things that they do for one another. Someone was telling me, and I forget what city it was, but it's like, hey, they're like, hey, my mom and dad or whatever, grandparents or whatever, it was some sort of move involved. They wanted to do something, had to move a lot of stuff. And the generals stepped up. They went in, and the brothers went in, and they took care of that for their brother, for their member's family. They went in there and took care of that. Stuff like that, man. America used to be like that. You didn't have to have a network like this. That's how it used to be. Just every neighborhood. If Miss Johnson and them had a problem, they're old, we would go down there and cut their grass. We would go down there and pull the trash cans in and out and all that. I'm pretty sure there's some people who still do that. But this network right here, this is the kind of stuff that was going on. All of this within 4 or 5 months. You know what I mean? It grew so fast. Like, it grew so fast. So those are our generals. 100% buy-in all over the world. Right? At one point, I asked a few of our generals to do even more work. I said, listen, We're having these discipline problems. I could be the final say on this and just decide however I want to decide. But I think that we should set up a regional level, pull up a couple generals, and that region, the regional guys can act as a review board. So if someone has a problem and they want to air their grievances out, like, hey, the general doesn't like me, this is why this happened to me, I think it was unfair, whatever the case may be, we have a step involved where you can actually be heard if you want to challenge the decision. And I asked the brothers that I asked stepped up immediately. Tommy, Colt, Jordan stepped up immediately. Didn't question it. We're in. So here I am asking them to do even more work. And I said, as generals, can you help us look into, like, so we broke it up into regions. Like, we got the East Coast region and we got the West Coast region, and then we got the international region. And each brother ran their regions as well as their city groups. A huge ask. They did it. Didn't question it. You know what I mean? They just stood right up. Hood, let's get it done. They didn't say hood, but let's get it done. And we had issues where, people needed to be suspended or whatever. How are we going to work it? I'll give you guys one example. And this came out of Miami. So there was a member in Miami that posted a video that was really bad, and it looked really bad for us. I'm not going to say his name. His name is not important, but he posted the video to make the whole entire organization look bad. One of our Tampa guys saw it, sent that up the chain. It got to me like, oh, this is horrible. I sent it up. Now, this is one of the times I'm like, this needs to go to Fresh and Fit ASAP. I sent it to Fresh and Fit. This is horrible. How y'all want to handle this? Fresh right away. Get rid of that guy. No questions. Get rid of that guy. We don't need that. We ain't got time for that. Get rid of that guy. Myron, well, maybe we should just talk to him, give him a stern talking to, give him a warning, and then if he ever does it again, we can get rid of him. But whatever you guys decide, I'll back you. But that was Myron's take. Fresh said get rid of him. Myron, let's talk to him. Let's try to straighten him out. So, all right. As the boss of bosses, I could have made a call on this. I took it to my regionals. Hey, this is what Myron said. This is what Fresh said. Right? So we can do whatever you want to do. I think we should get rid of the guy. But can you guys do me a favor, look into this, and give me a recommendation? The regionals jumped on it. They reached out to the member. They spoke to the member. They conferred, and they came to me, and they said, hey, this is what we recommend. And I went with that. And if memory serves, it was a suspension. We kind of talked to him, and after suspension, he had to talk to the regionals again, and then we would let him back in. If memory serves, that's how that went down, because we've had a few of these. But you see how we're trying to structure something that's going to last forever, that's going to surpass what we're trying to do, Red Pill, Fresh and Fit, Manosphere. We're really trying to create a network that men can become better. Right? We're trying to help. Now, some of these dudes were too weird. We couldn't help him. But this particular guy, I think we were able to help him. He reached out to me when it was all said and done. He said, I realized what I did. I realized that I was wrong. I realized I put the entire network in jeopardy, and I'm willing to accept whatever punishment comes down. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. And I told him we're going to put it to the regionals. They will be in touch with you, and they'll let you know what's happening. So that's what I was doing. Okay, that's what the generals were doing. Now let's talk about the keys to the kingdom. Let's talk about the keys to the kingdom. What do I mean by that? We set all this up. This thing went, again, we were already going. This thing went from 0 to 1,000 like that. At some point, we realized that on Telegram, ownership was spread between various folks. Ownership wasn't consolidated. Jacosta brought this to my attention, I believe. So I said, all right, I'm thinking we're going to have to consolidate everyone, and there's going to have to be one owner. So let's put it out to the generals. This is one of the decisions that I made. It's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna we're gonna set up under one ownership all these cities. And I think at that point we might have had like 15 cities at that point, maybe 300 or 400 members total. So we're gonna migrate everyone. We're gonna set up these cities, these groups under one ownership, and we're going to migrate everyone over, which means we're going to have to rebuild everything, put in all of all the information in, all the subs, topics and all that in there. It's work, guys. It's work. It's like, damn it, but it had to be done. The generals agreed. We set a timetable and a rollout. We executed on said day, and we made it happen. Jacosta set up all of the ownership. Now, at the time, we didn't realize that you could transfer ownership. We figured that out maybe a week or so later, but it didn't matter. Jacosta had all of the ownership for now, and he's like, what do I do with this ownership, Saint? I'll stand by and let me talk to Myron afresh. So I hit up Myron. Said, Myron, we have the ownership all consolidated. So basically, these are the keys to the kingdom for this organization, for the city groups. I don't want these keys. Who do you want to have these keys, bro? I suggest it's either Jay the Car Guy or Jacosta. And I'm going to keep it 100. I wasn't keen on Jay the Car Guy, right? We already talked about that. But Jay the Car Guy is loyal, right? He did what he did and he does what he does. I just wasn't keen on the fact that he wasn't good with others, but I gave my opinion. I said, you need to give him to either Jay the Car Guy, that's Fresh's guy, or Jacosta, that's your guy. Like, Jacosta's putting in a lot of work. He's been here every day. He was here before me. You know what I mean? So that's your guy. I would give the keys to him, but I don't want them. So Myron thought about it. You know what I mean? If I'm not mistaken, he took some time and he got back to me. He said, all right, we'll just use Jacosta. Done. Like, Jacosta, you have the keys to the kingdom, right? So it's you. And I even made a joke. I'm like, I don't think anybody's going to fuck us over, but if you fuck us over, we're going to come see you. Ha, ha, ha. Funny to hear that now. That's why vetting is real important, guys. You want to know who you fucking with. So the keys of the kingdom. Keys of the kingdom went to Jacosta. Jacosta has ownership of the city groups. Every city group, from United Kingdom to Japan to Canada to Australia to here in the good old USA. And any group any city we would have opened up moving forward, he was the guy that had full ownership. Right now, he's doing this for Fresh and Fit. There's no paperwork. He's not an employee of Fresh and Fit. I don't believe they have any agreement other than verbal as to what that meant, but he owned the groups. All right? It's important. Remember that, guys. That's important. So Jacosta had the keys to the kingdom. We're doing our thing. We're continuing to work. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you, bro. For me and Jacosta, man, we're looking at 8 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm just keeping it 100. If we weren't doing something, we were always doing something related to the Castle Club. At least I was. And I'm retired, so I have time. Right? I'm a retired air traffic controller. I have time. But Jacosta, you know, he's doing what he's doing, living where he's living, high cost of living area. He's not me. Now our generals and their leadership spend a lot of time mentoring and working with the guys in their city groups. I spent the majority of my time mentoring Jacosta. He's younger. He's doing these things, right? He would call me up and have issues. And to me, it sounded like he was just venting. So I'm just like, whatever, just let him get it out. It is what it is. Let's get back to work. So keep that in mind, guys. I spent most of my time one-on-one mentoring this guy, Jacosta, who I've never met in real life, which wasn't bothering me because we had plans as an organization to get together. We had a big event that was scheduled to go off in October in Miami. And we wound up moving that back a little bit because of some stuff, whatever. We'll get into that. But we not only did we want the guys to meet locally, but we were going to come together. It was our intent to have, at least one annual meetup where all the generals and all the members would come together. So, there's more detail into when we made plans to go to Miami, and I was saying one thing because I believe we were going to do it one way, and then it got changed from the top, so it went another way. So I had to double back on that, and then it went and got changed again. None of that's important. I mean, that falls under the communication thing. There was gaps in communication. Just understand that there were no problems within the network, within the Citigroup networks, that we couldn't handle and that we weren't handling. We rolled with the punches. We did whatever we need to do, right? I was the guy who was communicating with Myron and Fresh. No one else could get a hold of those guys. You can reach out to them or whatever, but Myron and Fresh are very busy doing what they're doing. No one else could get a hold of those dudes. I was the guy that would send it up. And a lot of times if they didn't get back to me in a timely manner, I went ahead and made a decision. But it was certain things that I couldn't do, namely the paperwork that I talked about before. That was real important. And keep in mind, up until this point, still the paperwork hasn't been done. All right. So Jacosta's venting to me. He has the keys to the kingdom. Jacosta is the owner of all the city groups. Him. He's the only one that can do anything like delete the city groups. He's the only one that can do it. All right. Let's talk about and I'm seeing, and guys, I'm seeing some questions in the chat. Here's the deal. Save your questions, write them down. Save your questions for the end. Right? And then I'll answer all of your questions. I mean, this is probably going to be a marathon session. Y'all know I don't normally do it. I normally do about 2 hours and I'm done. But this is going to be a marathon session today because I'm not speaking on this ever again. This is the only time I'm going to speak on this publicly. So save your questions for the end. All right. And then at the end, put your questions in the chat and I will read your questions and I will answer them all to the best of my ability. All right. So let's talk about the snake and the money. The snake and the money. Right. So who's our villain in all this? Gonna keep it 100. Jacosta's the villain. Right. It is what it is. He's in the chat. We've had talks. He knows how I feel about him. You guys are going to hear how I feel about him here in a moment. The snake and the money. So Jacosta was blowing off steam, guys. Like I said, he will say stuff, and a lot of the conversation began to skew towards money. Man, they can't expect us to do all this for free. I'm like, what do you mean us, homie? I'm doing exactly what I told Myron I said I would do. I'm building a network. That's what I said I was going to do. Ain't no us shit here. Well, everybody ain't got it like you. I mean, they can't expect just people to work for free. I'm like, bro, you've been working for free. Why wouldn't they expect that? This is the conversation going back and forth. And it's not confrontational. I'm trying to mentor him. It's like, man, they should have to pay money. I'm like, well, I'm like, bro, this isn't a job at McDonald's or some corporation somewhere, man. Like this is the private sector, man. This is entrepreneurial type stuff. Like if you want something, if you believe that you're not being appreciated for your value add and you want to be compensated, then you need to tell Myron. Myron's your guy, right? You were with him on Spaces, helping him do this stuff on Twitter and all that stuff that I don't deal with. You down these rabbit holes. I don't fuck around over there. If you got a problem, you need to address it with Myron. Tell him that you want money and tell him how much you want. Then it goes to, well, I feel weird. I feel weird talking about money. But you don't seem weird to talk to me about it. So why don't you talk to him about it? This is how it works. I mean, could you help me out? They respect you. You know them in real life. Like, can you talk to them about money? So this is going on for a while. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Jacosta's, contribution to this was essential. Dude is valuable to this. At this point, dude is extremely valuable. 1, 2, he holds the keys to the kingdom. I said, all right, man. I said, all right. I'm saying, listen, normally how this sort of thing works is It's every man for himself. If you want to go in here and you're trying to get some money and all that kind of stuff in this type of world, you got to go negotiate for yourself. I was like, think of it like this. Every dollar that I negotiate for you on your behalf is a dollar that I don't get. That's how the people in this world think. I'm a retired air traffic controller. I don't care about the money. I'm here for the networking, the opportunities here. Will there be opportunities to make money down the road? Yes. The Fresh and Fit platform is valuable. There is tons of back end money out there from the business standpoint. But I didn't sign up for money. I signed up to set up this organization for Myron because he asked me to. But I will begin the conversation with Myron and Fresh about a budget. And I didn't do that just because of him. You know, I did that because we needed a budget. That paperwork still wasn't done. Y'all going to keep hearing me talking about the paperwork. It wasn't done. It needs to get done. At this point, we were close to 1,000 members, bro, and we're in like 5 countries. We need to take care of this. This is going to be a problem if we don't fix it. We're going to need a budget. We're going to need an operating budget. So I began talking to Myron and Fresh. And the way that I was communicating with Myron and Fresh, if I wanted to send a message, if the message was Little Bo Peep lost her sheep, I would send that message to Myron, copy it, and then send it to Fresh. We weren't on a group text at this time. It was just I would send the identical message out to both guys and wait for a response. Generally, I'm gonna say 85% of the time, Fresh would respond first. So they're gearing up for the boat party in Miami. They were, gearing up for that. That was on the table. Of course, they're doing the podcasting. Of course, they're out here doing their things on both sides. Fresh is out networking. Myron is doing his thing with the social media world. They're running their operation. So I'm like, hey, bro, we need to talk budget. Like, at some point, we're going to have to talk budget. We still need these items addressed. It's going to take a budget. What is the budget? What do you guys have in mind? Right. And at certain points, I would, so that was initially I'm saying that this boat party is coming up. So I knew, I'm like, well, if the boat party is coming up, I can catch them on Friday. And I should be able to sit down, get an hour or so with these guys. I'll get into Miami early. I should be able to get a meeting set up. So I'm going to come in the Friday before. Now, I wasn't able to get that meeting. There was a lot going on. And, again, I would, if I were to advise Fresh and Fit, Myron and Fresh, I would tell them this, like, get a personal assistant, get 2 personal assistants, but a minimum 1, get them to keep your calendar and commit, and then just commit to that calendar, because it's really difficult to get them guys to sit down at the same place when they're not doing a podcast, like just sit down and discuss business. So I went down there. I wasn't able to get that meeting, but Myron and Fresh both knew I was there to talk business. I would, say something like, Fresh and I were on our way to go pick up some people and to go to something. It's like this late night thing. Like, Fresh, bro, we got to have a budget, man. Just make me an offer, bro. Throw out a number, whatever it is going to be fine. But still, we can. Fresh like, okay. But he was busy thinking about other things. It was what it was. I couldn't get the mission accomplished. The mission was to sit down with them to discuss what's going on. So I began to now I'm just going to send messages. I'm just going to send messages. Hey, we need to talk budget. What's going on here? And at the same time, I'm slowing down the growth of the city groups. I'm pulling back, right? I'm throttling back. I'm bringing the regionals in. Hey guys, let's throttle back. Let's go more hands off. Just let the city groups run. Let's keep our eye on it. If anybody needs any real support, we'll get in there and help them out. But for, let's just pull back. We had recently opened UK. We had opened Australia. And I was like, we're not going to open any more cities because we were looking at Western Canada. We wanted to get that going. We were looking at Phoenix. We were looking at something in Colorado, like maybe Boulder or Denver. We were looking at some other cities. We really needed to get into flyover country because, no one ever goes there, but we got plenty of people there. So I'm like, let's just back up. Let's just ease off. We're not going to open up any more cities. If you got guys who are clustered in Arizona, for instance, in the Nevada chat, put them in their own little group so they can talk about it. Start getting the ball rolling. Same in California. If you got Arizona guys, Let's start pulling them together. But we're not going to make it official. We're not going to name a general. Let's put it on cruise. That was my call. Myron and Fresh didn't know. That was my call. Meanwhile, I'm sending messages. So there's a message out there. There's a screen grab out there that I sent to my brothers. Myron has this thing, and this is not, by no means, this is not a gotcha moment or anything like that. It's not none of that. But in this message, Myron says, okay, what kind of budget do we need to keep this going? Right? Because I was hitting Myron up. Fresh wasn't answering these texts, but Myron answered that one. What type of budget will we need to keep this going? Now, the message I sent Myron was something along the lines of, hey, we built this thing. I'm happy and proud of what we have done, but I can't maintain and grow it for free. I've built it for you. Like, it's yours. I've done my part. I kept my word. This is what I said I would do. I did it. But to maintain it and to grow it, that's going to take some money. That's going to take a budget, not just for me, not just for the people who are working, but we need to pay for a bunch of stuff. Remember, we still haven't gotten the paperwork done at this point. We're going to need legal. We're going to need accounting, right? It's a lot of paperwork needs to be done. There's going to be all right. Looks like we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. is ZV1 camera. Sorry about that. Looks like we're back up. We're back up. There we go. We're back up. So one's in the chat, guys, if you can hear me and everything's good to go. One's in the chat if you can hear me. I just want to make sure looks like I got the feed. Can you guys hear me? One's in the chat if you can hear me and we're good to go. I should be able to hear. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. So in the message I sent to Myron, I said, hey, man, we're going to have to start doing this thing. We're going to need a budget. And I even put in the message, I said, listen, I know you guys got real overhead. I know you guys are going through this demonetization. I know that there's issues going on, bro. If you don't have a budget, let me know. Right? Myron will show you this. This is out there. I'm not lying. Like, you don't have a budget, let me know. But we have to get something to Jacosta. Let's get him something, because he's essential to what we're doing. And that's words to the effect. Like, yo, that's what I sent out to Myron. Myron's response to that was, what kind of budget do we need to keep this going? I took a day or so and I said, listen, bro. I said, listen, I really don't know how to price this thing, because this is new to me. I've never built out a global network before. I'm an air traffic controller. This is absolutely outside my wheelhouse. I know how to lead, right? I've commanded before. I've commanded in the field. So I said, man, so there's a screen grab of my response to his answer as to what I think it would take to keep this going. My brothers have seen this. I've seen it out there. But basically, I'm not going to tell you the numbers, but I just listed all the things that we're doing. Like, we're going to need, they're going to have to be funds available for legal, funds available for accounting. There's going to, we need to get this paperwork done. Again, talking about non-disclosures, non-compete. We're going to need to structure this thing. We're going to need accounts and banking so we can send the money in, all that stuff, right? All that was in there. Talked about travel pay, talked about audio, video, editing, all that stuff. And I put in there, it would be nice to have something at some point. It'll be nice to have something for the regionals and the generals. So all that was in there. I ended it with a number, an extremely lowball number, guys. So if you guys do see this thing, the number I used was extremely lowball because, again, I'm trying to help out the platform. I'm not trying to make $1 million off these dudes. I posted that. By this time, Myron has set up a group chat with me, Fresh, Myron, Jacosta, and I think Noble was added to that thing at some point. Right. So Myron set that up. And when he set up that group chat, he had an idea. He was like, hey, man, how about we do the merch thing? How about the generals send us their logo idea for the shirt, whatever the design is? We put it on our platform, sell it on our platform, and then these guys can kind of make some, get some side back end money off of that. I said, yeah, bro, that sounds like a good idea. What percentage would you be giving back to the generals? I suggested 33%. I was like, okay, that would be cool. Maybe, do like 33% kickback to the generals. And he was like, you know what, that might work. Let me run it by Fresh, right? So that's the reason he set up this group chat. I put in the information about needing a budget. I put that in there. Myron says, okay, what do you think? What do we need to, what budget do we need to keep this going? I put in that information with all that stuff in there. Fresh responds. Right now, Fresh was saying, he saw it and he was like, okay, he acknowledged it, but his response was a business response and it was valid. Fresh was negotiating. Not going to do that number, but we can do this number. And I wasn't negotiating. I'm like, finally, all right, now we got a number. I've been asking about this budget. I've been asking for a number. Now we got a number. Cool. Jacosta saw the number, right? He's calling, let's go. He's all excited and everything. And I'm like, bro, you need to manage your expectations. He's like, well, what? We got this number. I said, here we go with the we again. I said, listen, bro, you don't count your money until it hits your account. Right? We agreed upon a number, but did we discuss how that would be paid out? Is that going to be annual? Is it going to be quarterly? Is it going to be bi-weekly? Is it going to be weekly? How are you going to get it? Right? So that number came out. Jacosta was pretty much like, whatever, man, I'm happy. We got a number. I'm like, all right, cool. All right. I'm just letting you know, manage your expectations, bro. But you think you're not going to pay us? I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. I believe Myron and Fresh had every intention of, keeping with that commitment. Every intention. It's going to happen, but I don't know when and I don't know how. Right. So in the meantime, I'm just going to continue to keep things where it is and see what happens. Right. So I guess a week or so goes by, maybe a couple weeks. Jacosta again, man, they ain't going to pay us. What's this us shit again? Right. You the one worried about the money. It's like, well, you think you can ask them? Like, ask them what, bro? Read the chat. It's a group chat. You're in the chat. If you have a question about this, why don't you put it in the chat and ask? Can you do it? No, I'm not doing it. If you want to know, and like I said, the snake and the money, y'all see him, and mods, let him say what he wants to say in the chat. Jacosta, I'm gonna send you the link, bro, and I'm gonna let you come up here, and I'm gonna let you say your piece. Right? I'm gonna let you say your piece. You wanted the money, right? The snake and the money. That's why I titled it this way. You was like, bro, and I can send you, and everything I'm talking about, Jacosta, we have right here, bro. I can send the text. In fact, I can read it right here. I told Jacosta I'm not going to ask him about this money. If you want to ask him, you in the chat, you can ask him. Right? You can ask him. So Jacosta was like, all right, well, I'm going to ask him. Right? So he sent a message, and I'm reading it right here. Because he says I'm lying. I didn't ask anything about money. At this point, I didn't care. What's up, brothers? Hope all is well. The network is running smooth, and we're preparing for the Miami trip in November. A few weeks ago, Fresh you said 12, well, you said X amount monthly is allocated for myself and DL, and we accepted. Any updates on how we proceed with that? Thanks, guys. Right? That was Monday, September 16th. Fresh hitting back. And I told him, I'm like, Fresh is going to be the one that answers this. Fresh hitting back. Yeah, still working out specifics for that. We'll let you know how and when we do it soon. Our manager is going to have his director involved as well. He got his answer. He got his answer. Right? That's it right there. Now, chat, there's going to be a lot of people, you know, that's going to come over here and want to make this a whatever. They don't like what they hear. So long as they're not too out of pocket mods, let them do what they're doing. But if they get out of pocket, you know, handle y'all business. Y'all can kick them out if y'all want to. So the snake in the money. So I'm like, all right, you asked about the bread. I brought it to their attention. They answered you. It didn't come in fast enough. It's been a few weeks. You want to know what the holdup is? You asked me to ask them. I said no. You sent the message. You asked them. They gave you the answer. Right? And that's where we are. Now let's talk about moving to Discord. And this part of the conversation is called the lie and the cover up. The lie and the cover up. Right? So, Lady Navoa, did I see your super chat? I did see it. I did see a drive by there. Appreciate the love. I'm not throwing anything on the chat right now because I want to get through this. I guess it's going to be the only time I talk about this. It is what it is. So let's talk about the move to Discord. Right? Now, this is what sparked everything. Right? This part coming up right here. We're watching, what was it, a week ago today? A week ago today with Redbeard KC, Fresh and Fit, was talking, they had a show and they were talking about dating. And they were talking about the digital dating and all that good stuff. I thought that was a great episode. When I saw the thumbnail, I'm like, that's what's up. They're getting back to basics. I think that's cool. That's a good move. At the end of that episode, they were saying, hey, we are going to move the city groups over to Discord. Right? We're going to move the city groups to Discord. That's the first I heard of this. I wasn't read in on this. I wasn't at the table when this was being discussed. Right? I didn't know anything about it. I jump on the phone. I asked jacoasta, like, hey man, you know anything about moving to Discord, moving everything to Discord? He's like, nah, I didn't know anything about this either. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, watch the episode. It's on the episode. Generals are starting to hit me up. Yo, we're moving to Discord. What's going on with this? Like, I don't know. So I send a message. I send a message to Fresh. And I'm like, yo, Fresh, good show. He was like, thanks. And I was like, hey, this move to Discord. Jacosta finally brought me up to speed. Jacosta told me, like, he spoke to someone, I think maybe spoke to Noble or he spoke to someone. He briefed me, finally brought me up to speed. Have you guys thought about this? Right? Again, that's out there. That's a text. It's out there. Myron and Fresh can show it to you if you want to see it. Right? I'm not showing anything right now. If they want to put it out there, they can, but it's out there. Fresh didn't answer that. Right? And the reason why is they were preparing for the after hours. So I get it. The next morning, I get a call from Jacosta. Myron's on the phone. Myron, myself, Jacosta, and I believe Noble were on this call. I think Noble was on this call at this point. If he wasn't on the initial call, he was on the second one. So I'm talking to Myron. I said, hey, Myron, I didn't know anything about this. Move to Discord. Have you thought about this? I believe that this will cost up to 50% of membership to walk away. You'll lose them. And Myron said, and Myron wasn't talking shit. He wasn't, trying to flex. He just said, well, we've gone through changes before and we would lose people and they would come back. It was a very matter of fact, which is true. He's like, well, we've gone through stuff like this before and we move people. So they come back. I say, man, I think this is different. You know, like you're talking about deleting the city groups, like, you know, because during that telecast, he said, yeah, with, you know, in a day, we're going to be deleting the Telegram city groups and we're going to move everything over to Discord. It's like, man, I'm like, bro, I'm like, first of all, I'm not moving to Discord. You know, I'm not going to do it. And matter of fact, Noble was on the call because Noble was telling me how Discord has made changes. It's way better now, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, you know, and earmuffs to you people with sensitive ears, I said, look, Noble, I don't care if when I open up if I would open up the Discord app, it would blow me. I'm still not going to go over there, right? I'm not messing with Discord. And Myron says, well, look, the reason we're doing this is because the generals can't verify who are current paid members of Council Club. And we got a lot of guys in these city chats and these city groups who are just kind of basically freeloading. We want to address this issue. And it was like, Saint, you know, we brought this up and you said the generals can't do it. I'm like, that's right. The generals can't do it. Like we could, and Mo was in on this problem. Like, well, the reason the generals can't do it is because we can't see the point of sale. We can't see exactly who paid and who didn't. And a lot of folks are like, well, just have them screenshot the receipt and this and that. I'm like, you know, they might be able to conjure up some shit or use somebody else's. Like, I don't know. Like I think it would be hard to verify who's in and who's not. Mo said it himself. He was like, bro, I can tell who paid, how they paid. They did a year. If they do monthly, if they do weekly, I can tell. Yeah, I got to see it, but it's time intensive. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. We can't do that. He was like, but Myron says, we have found a way to do the verification and it takes the load off of the generals. It takes the load off of you, bro. Like we found a way to do this on Discord. And I was like, all right, bro, like I will give the order. It's not a thing. I will give the order. I will, I think I'd already put, as a matter of fact, I'd already put out a video to the generals to disseminate down to the membership that this was coming. Because they was clowning me, man. They was saying I was crying in the video, which I wasn't. I was tired. I just woke up in the morning. And they were like, oh, you were tearing up. I'm like, man, you know, they be coming hard for Uncle Saint, bro. They be coming hard for Uncle Saint. You know what I mean? So I said, look, Myron, if the main issue is how to solve for this problem to find out, you know, who's paying and who's not paying, let's put it out to our members. We're 1,000 strong. We got some very, very smart dudes in the chat. We got professional IT guys. We got computer engineers in there, bro. We got smart dudes. Bro, we can figure this out. And Myron was saying, so if we waited a couple weeks, you telling me we can come up with a fix to this? I said, if you give us a couple weeks, I'm not guaranteeing you a fix, but we will definitely have more options on the table that you can choose from. And the more time we have, the more options we can get. So Myron is listening. This is what Myron was talking about, y'all. He was listening, right? He's like, okay, this is Myron. Okay. Let me get fresh on this call. I'm going to call you back. Bet. We hang up. Now, I'm going to give a bunch of time estimates here. I don't remember the exact time of day that this happened, right? It was early afternoon, but I don't remember the exact time of day. But I'm going to give you guys some time hacks just so you can see how fast this shit went down, right? I'm going to give you guys some time hacks for this part, right? For this part coming up. So let's say it's 1:30. Myron just hung up. We were on the phone with Myron for about 30 minutes. It's 1:30. Myron hangs up. Yusef, I see you in the back, brother. And stand by. I'm about to Yusef, do me a favor, bro. Let the other brothers know this is the time to jump in. I'm gonna pull them up. I'm gonna let y'all talk, and then I'm gonna pull up Jacosta. I'm gonna send him the link. So 1:30. Jacosta calls me. And he's like, man, I don't know, man. I don't think that they're going to keep their word. I don't know if I want to work with these guys anymore. These guys, man, like, I don't think they're going to pay us. And I'm like, well, look, bro, as far as this move to Discord, Myron just says we're going to have 2 weeks. Like, man, I don't even know if I want to deal with these guys anymore, bro. I'm just mad. Now, here's the thing. He does this all the time. I'm like, all right, dude's venting or whatever. By this point, I'm like, this dude, he got a lot of feminine energy going on. Like I said, whatever. This is the snake. This is the money, right? This is where we at right now. So it's about 1:35. We're on this call. Me and him are talking, just the two of us. It's like, man, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna pay us. I'm like, bro, he just said, I'm like, look, the mission is to get more time, right? To slow down this migration over to Discord. Myron's listening to us right now. So it's not a big thing. So now it's about like 150, right? There's a lot of talking back and forth. Jacosta is clearly upset about the money issue. He's clearly upset that he's been doing all this stuff for free. He's clearly upset that we weren't read into this from the beginning. It's all starting to bubble over, whatever. So like I said, now it's about 150. Jacosta says, I just removed Myron and Fresh from the city groups, and I removed Miami and Dallas. And the reason that's important, Miami, Dallas, Jada Car guy. So what that is a purge of all of, not all of, but most of the CEO network guys, Myron and Fresh, right? And I'm like, why did you do that? He's like, nah, man, like, I don't trust these guys. We built, this is ours. We built this. I don't trust what they're saying. I'm like, bro, we were negotiating, man. We in parlay. I said, and I told him this. And bro, you tell me if I'm lying. Like, you know, look at Jacosta, I don't agree with this. I don't give a fuck what you agree with, bro. You know where I stand on this. But when I'm gonna let you talk, I'm gonna send you the link here in a minute, and I'm gonna let you talk. I'm not even gonna I'm not gonna interrupt you, bro, because you know where I stand on this. And like I said, you a coward. You a fucking snake, right? We're gonna set the record straight right here. So stand by. I'm gonna send you the motherfucking link. So he removed Myron. He removed Fresh. He removed Jada Car guy. Miami's gone. Dallas is gone. Right? That's at 150. 155, Myron calls. So Myron calls. He's like, okay, I got Fresh on the line. So, hey, Saint, you're saying if we just really need just like a couple more weeks, and we might be able to come up with a fix for this verification thing, right? Fresh says, I'm not in the groups. I don't see the groups. My guys are telling me Miami and Dallas are gone. They're not in the groups. Jacosta says, I deleted the groups. Myron says, Saint, right? Well, before I get to that part, Jacosta said, I deleted the groups. That was the lie, right? Let me make that clear. Jacosta said, I deleted the groups. He removed Myron, Fresh, Jada Car guy, Miami, Dallas, gone. He said, I deleted the groups. Fresh asked him, what's going on? Jacosta said, I deleted the groups. That was the lie. Myron asked me, Saint, when we were just talking 20 minutes ago, did you know the groups were deleted? I said, at that time, no. That was the cover-up. We had a lie and we had a cover-up. I knew the city groups were still up. I covered it up, which means I'm complicit in the lie. Now, there might be some people out there that say, well, you know, you answered the question. He asked you if you knew at that time, and the groups were still there completely intact at that time, so you really didn't lie. Bullshit. I covered it up. Right? I covered it up. There's no getting around that. There's no getting around that. The lie was made. I covered it up. So Myron says to Jacosta, then why are you wasting my time? Why did you do that? Jacosta says, well, Noble said to delete all the chats at noon. I woke up late, so I deleted them now because I'm just now getting up or whatever. I couldn't do it at noon, but I did it now. Some words to that effect. Fresh says, cool. We're migrating over to Discord. Talk to y'all later. Myron, it's like, damn, Jacosta, why did you do that? I'm sitting there not saying shit. I covered it up. I allowed them to believe that the entire city group network was destroyed. Right? I covered it up. Now let's dwell on this for a hot second. Let's dwell on this part for a hot second. Myron and Fresh has every right to be upset with me, to be pissed at me for covering up that shit. Every fucking right. They ain't wrong. And whatever they did beyond this, if they want to say anything about me, commenting, you notice that I'm not saying nothing negative about Myron and Fresh. I don't care what's being said about me out there, because I made a call. I made a command decision. I covered this shit up. I made a command decision, and I'm standing by that decision. Right? But I will say this. There's talk out there that DL Saint was taking subscriptions, and I didn't even know what that meant, but basically having people pay me, because instead of paying Fresh and Fit Castle Group, I never did that. That never happened. I never did that. None of the generals did that. Right? And a week ago, if you told me jacosta was doing that, I would call you a fucking liar. I don't think jacosta would do something like that. I don't think. But I didn't think he would do this shit. So no, that's not a thing. But Myron and Fresh have every right to be upset with me for the decision that I made to cover up that lie for this guy. Now, a lot of people ask, why did you cover it up? I was in command. Right? And I'll make this analogy, the same analogy I made to jacosta when he did this shit. Imagine you and a group of people, or standing in front of another group of people, tensions are high, motherfuckers about to fight. But the people up front are talking. And it looked like that this shit's gonna get handled on the lowest level possible, and there's not gonna be no need for drama. That's what it looks like. Right? That's what it looks like. No need for drama. But then the person standing next to you punches one of the dudes or pulls out they weapon and let loose. Now the fight's on. Doesn't matter what was being negotiated. All that shit's out the window. The fight's on. When jacosta did what he did, and I told him, like, you set this off, bro. Remember this moment. You fired the first shot. He fired that shot without my order, but it doesn't matter. He's under my command. I'm responsible for this motherfucker. So we're in it. I made my choice. I'm in it. That's how I am. Right? So Myron and Fresh have every reason to be pissed at me. Now, I was not on board with moving everything over, but at this point, none of that shit matters. Right? What Myron and Fresh did from this point forward, I'm not mad at them at all. Right? It is what it is. I made my command decision and I stuck by it. Period. So, of course, Fresh found out, told Myron, the rest is history. You know, they did the Zoom call, and they wound up getting actually the snake. This, you know, there's another part of this. Right, and this takes us into the fallout and casualties part, right? Because I was allowed to cover up. I'm gonna do fallout and casualties, and then I'm gonna open it up to my brothers to come and speak. I'm gonna make this quick. So once all that went down, Myron the Fresh was like, that's fucked up what you did, Saint. Like, yep, but I did it. You know what I mean? That's fucked up. You covered this guy up, whatever. Yep. So that's it. I'm done. I'm out. The call's over. I get another call the next day from jacosta. There's Fresh on the phone. Myron's on the phone. Their manager, Gary's on the phone. Noble's on the phone on this call. And they're like, look, we're going to destroy the Telegram groups. All right. jacosta's like, well, I tried to delete all the groups, but something happened and I got removed from all the groups. And jacosta, that is the most cowardly ass shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. So he manages to remove himself from all the groups somehow. Now, in order for him to do this shit, someone has to add him to all the city groups so he can delete them. So they call me. At this point, I'm livid. Fuck this motherfucker. You know what I mean? And that's not at Myron and Fresh, by the way. That's 100% jacosta. Fuck this cowardly ass bitch. Yeah, you, jacosta. You mean you don't remove yourself, nigga? You expect me to believe that you made a mistake? You such a fucking coward. You couldn't just do what you're gonna do. You had complete ownership of these groups. There's no paperwork. Y'all didn't sign no contracts. You decided to do this shit, remove yourself from the groups. They call me so I can, we got to add you. I'm mad as fuck. And this is one of the many lessons learned here, guys. This is one of the many lessons learned. Stay calm, stay cool. Because I missed a golden opportunity right there. I could have told Myron the Fresh, hold on, hung up the phone, called all the generals and said, hey, get all the information to your brothers. They're about to nuke all the city chats. I'm going to give you guys 30 minutes. And then I'm going to give them what they need to delete the shit. Because I couldn't delete it. Only jacosta could. But I fucked up. I was so angry, I couldn't think it through. And I take that. I own that. Right? So what I did was pulled out my phone. Fresh is talking like, Fresh, what do you need me to do? I need you to go and add him to every city group. So I'm like, all right, I'm looking at it. One of the groups I couldn't get into, like, bro, I'm not seeing the things that I can't get them in, blah, blah, blah. We figured it out. I got jacosta in every room. He nuked them. That's how that shit went down, right? And then we had the fallout. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna end with the fallout. I'm not gonna go to the fallout until after the brothers speak. Brother Yosef, I'm gonna bring him up right now.
Oh, what's up, DOC?
What's happening, fam?
So I'm going to give it a little perspective of what the generals went through of this lack of leadership from jacosta. So he talked about it a little bit, guys. So jacosta was trying to play both sides of the situation. He was trying to stay in our good graces as generals and also stay in Myron and Fresh's good graces as well. And then with that being said, he was playing both sides and telling us both incorrect things. So when he initially removed Myron and Fresh from all the city groups, he passed down the chain of command that we are no longer affiliated with Fresh and Fit. We don't have to do.
We lost your audio, bro.
Telegram with the guys who want to stay on Telegram.
We lost, rewind that. We lost a little bit of your audio.
All right, I'm back. You got it?
Yeah, I got you now.
All right. So what jacosta's chain of command was, with the push down to the regional generals, and then the regional generals push down to us, was that we were just going to remove Myron and Fresh and all of their leadership teams from our groups, and we were going to keep the Telegram chats open as we had. Any members that wanted to go to Discord can go to Discord. Any guys who want to stick with us can stick with us, or they can do both. They can stick with us and they can go to Discord. But we were not going to try to siphon off any of their members from going over to Discord. We were not going to, make it a pick a side kind of thing, because when this came down, we didn't know why they were moving over to Discord. We had zero idea of what was going on or why they moved to Discord. We never got any. We weren't privy to any kind of information of any lies or anything being told. We were just told that there were going to be no more generals. They're going to be only regional generals at Discord. And we're moving to Discord now. We're deleting everything, and there's nothing you guys can do about it. Nothing, no negotiation. Because if you want to be honest, any good leadership or any good communication between the generals and the high leadership team would be Myron and Fresh, jacosta, and I got to throw you in there a little bit, you two, DL Saint, would be a Zoom call with everyone telling us, okay, this is what's going on. This is why it's going on. This is the issues. And then they get our inputs. But the way it was laid out was, we're moving to Discord. That's it. Now we're going to get your input. There's no input to give us because you already made the decision. So from a general standpoint, a lot of the generals are putting in a lot of work. Me, myself, I'm driving 2+ hours every weekend to go out see my guys. We spend a lot of money into this. We don't have a budget, as he was saying. No one gave us any money, so we're coming out of our own pocket to make these events happen on time. We're taking time off work, we're taking time off our business to make this, because we bought into the vision that Myron and Fresh gave us, that we got to blow this into a worldwide organization of a network of men to better themselves in every single way. So we bought in fully. Like I said, I was willing to spend my own money. Like I said, I don't have no problem. I enjoy the investment I put in. So from our standpoint is to no explanation of why we're moving everything. No consideration of our feelings or anything like that. We never even got to talk to Myron and Fresh in time. And the first time we get to talk to them is to tell us that we're no longer going to be generals because that's what we were told from jacosta, that they're only going to have regional generals, and that they're moving to Discord, and there's nothing we can really say about it. So we're all pissed. I feel like we have a right to be. Like I said, we put a lot of effort, we put a lot of work and time into bettering these guys. These guys are now our brothers. We call everyone call each other brothers. Some guys, we broke bread with. We went helped guys do things at their home. We talk about family issues. We had a lot of time within 5 months to bond with these guys. So to now get everything nuked with no explanation, I'm pissed. I'm not happy about it. And I think everyone has a right not to be. So what jacosta does is he passes down the chain of command that we're no longer affiliated with Fresh and Fit. We can keep everything as it is. We're just going to remove the branding, remove their leadership, and keep doing what we've been doing, business as usual. So cool. We're like, all right, we'll explain to the guys and we'll divide up who wants to go and who wants to stay, and who's going to stay on both. It doesn't matter. Then the next day comes. We're all talking, and me and my guys talking in the Telegram, and it gives me an alert where you're banned. You can't talk in the group chat anymore. The group chat is gone. That happened suddenly. No type of notification from anybody that this was going to happen. My group chat was just deleted. Like, bro, we supposed to have a Zoom call with Myron first before we even did any of this. We had a Zoom call that same night at 10 o'clock with Myron to explain what happened. So as you guys heard from DL Saint, that he was on the call with Myron Fresh and Noble and the manager, and they made jacosta make the decision right now. So jacosta nuked everything short notice. He didn't give us no type of warning. And yeah, so all the generals, we made our groups again. We like, well, fuck this. We're not going to Discord because none of us wanted to go to Discord anyway. At least the guys that didn't go to Discord. We weren't going to go to Discord, even if we kept our positions. We was committed to the Telegram because we put a lot of work in it. We had our own circle of brothers. We already bonded. Now you're going to infiltrate our entire group with a bunch of randoms. No vetting process. None of this. There's a bunch of weirdos or people that's just going to be message watching. We didn't want that kind of vibe in our group. So we wasn't going to go to Discord regardless if we kept our positions or not. But heads up would have been nice, So that's they nuked it. And then they made it seem like we were trying to take over Fresh and Fit, Fresh and Fit's group. They were trying to make it seem like we were just kicking everybody out because we were doing a coup to get rid of Myron and all of them because we wanted to take what's theirs. That's not the case. We were told that it was a clean break, that Myron and Fresh was cool with us keeping the Telegram threads, that we were just going to remove their leadership team. The guys going to go over to Discord if they wanted to go. We can keep the guys that we kept, and that was just going to be it. Now, what I want to put a little context on is that screenshot that Myron showed on the stream yesterday of Colt telling jacosta, because that was jacosta's screenshot, by the way, guys, if you didn't know. Jacosta's a snake. So jacosta has down the message to our regional general, Colt, to remove Myron Fresh, DA the car guy, from the groups because we were getting rid of their leadership out of our groups. So when we were doing so, we was able to move them out of the city groups, some of them out of the city groups because they weren't admins. But for Myron Fresh, the car guy, they were admins in the rank. So only the owner can remove admins, as you know. If anyone who's here is privy to Telegram, only the owner can remove admins. So when Colt realized that he couldn't remove them, he sent a text to jacosta. Hey, jacosta, remove remove Fresh, Myron, Jay the car guy from each of the groups. So we can do it. So jacosta, and at that moment, jacosta's on the phone, or later on down the line, I know he screenshotted that message. He screenshotted that Thursday. And that later on down the line, when he gets caught trying to remove everyone from the groups, because we had some generals that were spies, apparently. We had spies in every one of our group, which is crazy, because where's the trust? But like I said, this isn't a bash for Myron and Fresh. I just want to make that clear. I still support Fresh and Fit. We're blacklisted, but they still have my 100% respect. I would never disrespect their group. I respect everything that the message they're pushing, and we're on the same side of this mission at the end of the day. So basically, when jacosta's kept caught, he's on the phone with Myron and Fresh, and he has to delete the group. He took that screenshot and sent it to Myron to take the heat off of his back of being the bad guy of trying to get them all out of the groups. He tried to make it seem like Colt was the red-handed culprit of getting them out. So when that Zoom call came up that night with Myron at 10 o'clock that night, and Colt was the lead speaker for the generals, we all back Colt. We believe in Colt. He's really like the head guy, if you want to ask me. And from my perspective, I know he's my regional general, so I'm a little biased, but he's one of the best guys we got. So when Myron broke down that DL saying jacosta was lying, because the first time we found out, I still had the opportunity to keep my general spot in the Discord. Wasn't going to take it. because, like I said, being the generals had a Zoom call the previous night explaining that we wanted to keep what we had. Once we found out about the lies, some guys didn't no longer felt the way that they felt, which is fine. Guys, generals, do your thing, man. It's a big opportunity for you guys. We still see it that way, but some of us were committed to the guys that we had, the cause that we already had started. So once the Zoom call with Myron happened, Cole gave his opening statement that we were not trying to. We don't want any bad blood with Fresh and Fit. We just wanted to keep the guys that we had, the group that we had going. We didn't like the communication. We didn't like some of the things. He's bringing our grievances. So once Cole got done talking, Myron said, "Okay, Cole. So then what the fuck is this?" And he pulls up a screenshot of what jacosta sent to him of him telling them to delete Myron and all of them out the group. That was like a fucking shot to all of us. We was all surprised. Like, where the fuck did this come from? I'm sorry if I'm cussing on your stream, man. I'll try to clean it up. Where the heck did this come from? Like, when no one expected this, we all thought jacosta was on our side. We all thought that jacosta was innocent in this, but we found out about the lies, and then we found out he threw us under the bus, and then he threw Cole under the bus, which was even crazier to protect himself in Myron's good graces. So that's some of the snake stuff that DLC is talking about that jacosta's cowardice caused, or what he did. He threw us all under the bus as generals. He threw DLC under the bus just to stay in good graces with Myron, and that's snakery, man. Like, a lot of people on Twitter was talking about how much snake jacosta is, and I was defending him, man. But I mean, I got to see it for myself. Like I said, I don't want to bash anybody. DLC is not bashing him. He's spelling 100% the truth. Jacosta will have an opportunity to defend himself if he takes it. The DLC say he'll add him on. But that's basically it, guys. We were all duped. We were all lied to, and we were all basically misled to look like backstabbers of Fresh and Fit. And that was not the case, guys. We did not want to backstab Fresh and Fit at all. We just wanted to keep our city groups. Because like I said, Fresh and Fit I'm sorry today, they didn't do any of the legwork, guys. They gave us the members, they gave us the branding. All of the legwork was done by us generals, man. We put our own money, we put our own blood, sweat, and tears into growing this group. We held all our guys accountable to the same standard. We spoke to guys one-on-one almost every single day. We gave guys we had Zoom calls on a weekly basis every Sunday at 8 o'clock. We even tried to move it around if Fresh and Fit was going live. We tried to move it around to make sure that everyone gets the value that they asked for or that they joined Council Club to get. Like, we put in a lot of work, and Fresh and Fit didn't know anything about it. We made social media accounts. We were doing advertisements on social media. We were making montages of all the meetups. Like, we had a lot of content that they could have showed you guys on the stream to show you guys that Council Club is actually growing big. And guys, get in here. Like, there's a lot of value, but they didn't have a lot of hands-on with the group, and it's kind of unfortunate because we thought they were a little more hands-on, but we found out in the end that it wasn't like that. So that's just what it is, man. And then the money thing, the stealing of money, of generals trying to siphon money off of the group. That's not true at all. What we were doing was, guys, we would do meetups, right? So if it was an expensive meetup, at least this is what I was doing. If it was an expensive one, some guys may have been doing it more, may have been doing it less. Some might have done it at all. But we had to raise up that $1,000 for at the end of the year for Fresh and Fit. So, and I think that was DL Saint's idea. But basically, the $1,000, we got to get guys to buy in. So when we do these meetups, I did it one time, charge everybody at the meetup with the gun range $20 for the meetup. That money went into the Castle Club Atlanta Cash App. It did not go into my pocket. It didn't go to anybody's pocket. In fact, that money is still sitting there in the Cash App right now to this day. And the guys who stuck with me are the ones who sent the money. So I did not do anything with that money. So the money's still there, but basically that money was going to the Cash App to be for any future events, any merch ideas for the group. That money was to simply go back into the group to further the business of growing Castle Club. So no one was stealing money. The body transformation thing was not stealing money. I'm not sure if Myron and Fresh was privy to it. It came out that they didn't know about it. I'm not sure, but none of us was trying to steal money, at least from what I know and from my perspective. But that's basically what I got to say. I hope that gave a lot of more context to the situation. This is not bash to Myron Fresh and Fresh and Fit. We support them 100% still. Like I said, the situation was just a lack of communication, a lack of hands-on and leadership, and that was about it, man. There's no hate to those guys, man. They still leading from the front. They're still doing good God's work. They still have my 100% support, and that's about it, guys. That's all for me.
All right, I appreciate you, brother. And I believe in Myron and Fresh's message when it comes to male improvement and that stuff. The political stuff, I'm not really with that. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here for the brotherhood. I'm here for helping men. I'm here for that sort of thing. I wanted to put that out there. And before we put Brother Tommy's going to be next. Before we get Brother Tommy in here, I want to say this about jacosta. People were saying that he was stealing money. They were talking about the body transformation. The body transformation was an idea that one of our brothers from Australia brought up. He was like, "Hey man, I'm working on my physique, and I have this idea to do this competition. Do you think Myron and Fresh would approve?" I said, "Hey man, do me a favor, commit this idea to video, work with jacosta on this," because jacosta was ready, and he was like, "Yeah, this is a great idea. That's lit. I want to do it." I said, "You guys work out a video. Give me the video. We'll give it to the generals. The generals will disseminate it to the membership. I'll get the okay from Myron and Fresh." Of course, they were all in. It was a buy-in. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but it was cash prizes. It was all set up. I worked hand in hand with jacosta on this. There was no, snakery or anything like that going on. It got set up. It's currently in process. The body transformation is going on right now. Myron's going to judge the winners. But when all this went down, Fresh asked jacosta for the money from that competition, however much it was. jacosta didn't feel comfortable giving it to him. Again, he was like, "Man, I don't know, man. I don't trust him," this kind of stuff. And he was like, "These people trusted me with the money. It's my responsibility to make sure this money gets paid out." That sort of thing. So I said, all right, no problem. So you better handle that with Fresh. If it were me, I'd give him the money. So he said he wasn't going to give Fresh the money. Fresh went online doing a bunch of stuff. Then jacosta ended up giving him every dime. There are brothers who lost money on our trip, our planned trip to Miami. Brother Tommy is one of those guys. Yusef is one of those guys. They lost deposit money, right? So that's I'm
No,
gonna let
I
Tommy.
didn't lose any money on that.
Oh, my bad. I thought you did. I thought you were in. My bad. I'm sorry. But there were four. I think Tommy's going to talk about it. He's when this all went down, I asked Tommy to take the lead on it. He's gonna give a brief on that as to who lost and stuff like that. jacosta, from my knowledge, was not trying to take anyone's money. I want to be clear on that. He was not trying to steal money, to my knowledge. You know what I mean? But the rest of this stuff was snaky. But I can't say that he was stealing money. I don't think he was. I sent him the link. And if he has the opportunity to come up here and say what he wants to say. Brother Tommy, you're up.
All right, how's it going, DL?
Oh man, it's going outstanding, bro. Thank you for doing this, bro, and thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, a couple things that I missed on their Zoom. Just to clarify for that Zoom, I didn't know I was going to come on. I was a little rushed, and I think I got my point across okay, but I'll go ahead and clarify more now. One of the things I missed was during the Zoom call that we had with Myron, with all of the generals, Myron stated that it was going to be in-house. So the very next day when we saw that all these generals were blacklisted, like sent out to everybody, that was no longer in-house. So that was one thing that was like, that we didn't like, of course. But going back from the beginning, I don't think any of us knew how much time and effort that this was all going to take. And to make it frank, I don't think Myron and Fresh knew how much we were actually doing. So when it came to that, I think there was a disconnect on that part, and we were moving too fast for them. And I know that we shot up, if DL, you can back me on this, we shot up the thought of Castle Club membership is for the content. It has nothing to do with the city groups. So one thing that we shot up to them was, how about we do a Castle Club premium, and then it will be sent to the city groups to support all the generals for all the hard work they're doing. Because all the guys that were under me, all the guys under Jordan and Colt, like we talked all the time, and we were constantly in communication with how much work these guys were doing, and it was so much. So we thought that would be an easy way for us to be one unit, because at that point none of us were employees. We were all just doing this just because, and that was fine because we were doing this for our people. But the extra stuff that we had to do on top of it, and all the payments and stuff, we all came out of hand. We've already talked about that. But I think DL, you did a really good job of telling how everything happened. But yeah, for the generals that lost money, there were 8 of us, and jacosta himself showed me screenshots of all the money that he sent in, and he gave money back, and he did not take any money from anybody. I'm not being a sympathizer or anything like that, but I think he was in a position that he was not ready for. He should have not been in the position that he was in. It was too much responsibility for him to take, and he made bad decisions. I don't think he did anything malicious, but he made bad decisions. And that's basically all I got. I said everything that I said on the last Zoom call, and I think you clarified everything pretty well.
I appreciate that. We got brother John who's joined us from our Australia team. G'day, mate.
Hey, g'day. How you going? Sorry, it's
All
a
right.
bit noisy here, but yeah. Sorry, I just joined the call now, so I'm not sure what I'd missed. I just caught the end of what Tommy had said. Just to go off what was said in the call yesterday, because I listened to most of it. Basically, what Tommy's saying, we did this for the love of what we do. We weren't getting paid like Myron made it seem. We weren't, on a salary and getting bonuses, getting commission. We weren't. So to be told biting the hand that feeds us was a bit of an insult, because these are people who don't see what we do. That's what they're taking out of it, that we're doing this, or we're trying to overthrow what he's claiming he's built. But I said, we're doing it for the love of it. We're putting our own time, money, effort into building these groups. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. So it's a bit hard to take, but we'll be right.
All right, that's what's up, brother. Because I know John, I know you and the Australian team haven't had an opportunity to talk to me. I've made myself available to you guys. If you want to have a Zoom or something like that, just let me know. Do you have any questions of me? Do you have any questions of me right now? You're here.
Not at the moment. I think we'll be good. I appreciate it.
All right, cool, brother. Appreciate you checking in all the way from Australia, man. Looks beautiful behind you. Clouds look good out there. Yeah, bro, I see you, man. So thank you so much, man. So with that, I'm just gonna ahead and drop you down. And if you if you want to pop up, just let me know. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Brother Rico, what's good,
Hey, DL, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. So again, just so I'm gonna let Brother Rico take the floor here, but just so you guys know, I have sent the link to Jacosta. I sent it to him via Telegram. I sent him the link to join on this stream right now. I'm gonna let him say whatever he wants to say. I'm not gonna call him names. I'm not gonna cut in. I'm just gonna sit here and be quiet and let him talk. Jacosta, if you want to come up here and say what you got to say, now's your time, brother. And I will not talk about this publicly again, people. All you folks watching, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Just wanted to clear the air.
All right. And this is going to be a little bit to the contrary of what Yusuf said. I want to start by saying that Myron was correct. They built everything over the course of 4 years. We built this in 4 months. We may have spent hundreds and maybe thousands. They spent millions. And I just want everybody to know I did not do this for the money. I knew this would cost, and I was willing to pay whatever it costed, because the goal is to help men. That was what we're here to do. That's what I intended to do. Now, in terms of everything that happened, when all this went down, I thought it was weird, but at the end of the day, I'm not one for insubordination. I said this Friday morning. I followed all orders. I was told from the beginning that every order came from jacosta and DL. That was word from Myron and Fresh. And who are we to question that? So on top of that, how would we? But that's here nor there. And after the Zoom, I even did what Myron said to do. I told my members, hey, go to Discord. And pretty much all the most serious members said that they didn't want to go. I was like, okay, well, at this point, this is when I had a choice to make. And the only reason why I wasn't going to go is because Colt was following orders from the top. And for me, the way I see it is, how are you going to punish somebody for following orders from somebody that you appointed to give those orders? And the reason I didn't go is because I could see this happening again in the future. I'm not going to continue working, spending this money, granted, money's the least of my worries, but spending on the time and energy trying to help these guys just to get booted for something of the same in the future. So I let the members know. I was like, hey, you guys should go to Discord. And they're like, we don't want to go. And I was like, all right, well, if you want to stay, I'm not going to be in Council Club anymore. I'm going to get blacklisted, yada, yada, yada. And my main thing about it all is I can't help but feel like this isn't gonna get solved. Because during that Zoom call, one of the reasons Jordan got X'd out was because he had a valid criticism mobile. He was supposed to be getting out affiliate links to everybody. And apparently he hadn't even responded to Jordan in months. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I stand by my decision. And we're all on the same team. There's no bad blood. I still support F&F. Them boys did so much for me. Sure they did for so much of y'all watching. And at the end of the day, we're on the same team. Appreciate it, DL.
I appreciate you, brother, man. Thank you so much. You want me to drop you down, or you just want to hang out
Yeah.
on the screen? But I'll drop you down.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, bro. Brother West, you up?
Yo, what's going on, OG?
What's happening?
So, I've been on the whole time. Everybody pretty much summarized what was going on. However, and I'd still rock with Fresh and Fit, right? I mean, I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for them. This wouldn't have started if it wasn't for them. But I have discrepancies with what I guess their emotional state was. They acted as if they paid us to do all of this work. That's not true. They acted as if we were their employees. We were not. We literally did this because we love them, and more importantly, we love the brotherhood. Another thing was saying we bit the hand that fed us. One of my boys said it like, you guys didn't feed us anything. We got it out the mud. And that's true. We've all put our own money into making this grow. Whether it's you, me, any of our officers, any of my leadership team, right? I'm not gonna tell you how much money I put into it because it's embarrassing large amount. But like having to meet up with each other, having to pay people to train us, having to go out to eat, gas money, all that other stuff, it adds up a lot. It adds up. I'm still very thankful to F&F, but I can't agree with their sentiments as far as them feeding us anything. In fact, we were promised to have either monthly or bi-weekly Zoom calls with them as generals. That never happened. A lot of things they promised to us never happened. They were extremely hands-off. If it wasn't, and the only way we could contact them is either through you, jacosta, or even Noble sometimes. But that's all I got to say.
I appreciate you, brother. I'll see you Saturday, man. Get ready to get muddy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna holler at you later, brother.
How about peace?
So, I mean, Jacosta was here. He made a point to be in the chat. He knows my feelings on him. I don't. For those who don't know me, what you see is what you get. This is the time now. If you guys have any questions for me, throw it in the chat. Just throw it in the chat. You don't have to do super chats and all that. Everyone who gave the super chats, I appreciate it. Someone gave a $50 super chat, man. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to find it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find it. So I appreciate everyone who sent in a super chat. I mean, this wasn't about money today. It's not. I mean, I'm a capitalist. I love to make bread. I'm sure we all do, but that's not what was going on here. I appreciate the support, man. I just want to give you guys an opportunity in the chat. If you got a question for me, now's the time to ask. I'm serious, guys. I will not be talking about this again moving forward, not publicly to anyone. What is next? Is there any way to reconcile? What is next? Is there any way to reconcile? Devin, I don't know, bro. Like I said, Myron the Fresh has every reason to be upset with the decision I made, but that's my leadership style. That's what I did. One of the brothers asked me, I think it was in Atlanta when we had the Zoom call last night. One of the brothers asked me, he's like, he met me at the boat party. And he said, look, bro, I understand what you did, but why did you do it? And I was like, bro, I'm just built this way, man. That's how I lead. If you're with me, if you're under my command and you do something, that's my responsibility. I gave the analogy, guys, like he fired the first shot, and it is what it is. But is there room for reconciliation, bro? Like, I hope so. I mean, I hope so. Like, it is what it is. Myron and Fresh did a lot, bro. You know, people say a lot about Myron and Fresh, and here's the thing. They went from what they were doing, whatever it was, they went from zero, what they were doing in normal baseline, to touching millions, possibly tens of millions of dollars. And they did that in 36 months. Every time they had an event, except for the last one, except for that boat, the last boat one, every time they had an event, people that they trusted would do things that hurt them. Right now, what I did wasn't malicious. I wasn't trying to steal from them. I wasn't trying to do anything like that, but it hurt them nonetheless. Like, bro, why can't you just tell us? And I get that. I made the call that I made. My mind was, man, let's get to this. Let's get to the problem, let's solve this problem. But once the shot was fired, and I'm in the fight. So what I changed, what I probably will do the same thing moving forward. It's something that I have to work on myself, but is there room to reconcile? I mean, you know, time heals all wounds. Let's just put it that way. We'll see. It seems like a huge miscommunication. Maybe it can be fixed. Like I said, bro, we're all here, man. We support that. I support the male improvement part. I support like the dating information and all that, becoming the best version of yourself. The political stuff, I'm not with. And they know it. Whenever I'm on that pod, you know, we're on a podcast, we talk like, I'm not with the political stuff at all. But the male improvement stuff, I'm with 100%. We'll see. Who came up with the $1,000 fee that each chapter had to raise? That was from you and Jacosta or from Fresh and Fit. That was my idea alone. I ran that by Fresh and Fit. And like, I don't know if you were here earlier, we talked about that. The reason behind that is for unit cohesion and buy-in. Each chapter raises $1,000 per year. That's the only requirement that will be sent back to the Fresh and Fit platform. Myron didn't like that idea initially. I spoke to him about it. I said, this is why I think we should do it. And then he eventually signed off on it. Fresh signed off on it. So we put it out. And again, $1,000 for a group of men to raise is not a lot, but it takes work. And the restrictions were they couldn't just reach in their pocket and pay. They had to do events. They had to earn it as an organization, come up with an idea, come up with a plan, and earn that $1,000. Well, and I told them more, like earn more. So you guys, each city group will have funds so they can do things that they need to do. So the answer to your question, that came from me and Myron and Fresh. I ran that by Myron and Fresh, and Myron finally did sign on. Keep in mind, anything that we did, any of those like major decisions came from Myron and Fresh. I ran the organization, but the major decisions came from Myron and Fresh. If it was something going on that was major, I had to run it by them. So DL, you cool though, and you and Fresh and Fit, you gonna go back. I don't have a problem with Myron and Fresh. They have a problem with that decision. Like I said, time will tell. He was too young for that responsibility, and he did exactly what young people do. Brother Charles, yep. We know DL, we know who you are, bro. Appreciate that, sis. Like I said, whenever you out here, man, and you doing stuff, if you're in command, you got to do it. I'm not gonna sit here and try to say, oh, I had no hand in all this. I was in command. The buck stops with me. Right? That's how I look at it. That's how it is. There was a lot of people sending comments, and people wanted to know what was going on. I just want you guys to know everything. I put it out there. I'm stalling right now. I want to give jacosta an opportunity to come up here and say what he got to say. I'm stalling right now. All right? That's what we're doing. We're stalling. So were all the new members now being funneled into Discord? Good question. Yes. So since this happened, everything got nuked. People were hitting me up on Telegram. People say, hey, my city group is gone, or hey, I can't find the network. And I send you can send me right now. Find me on DL_Saint on Telegram. You can send me a message right now, and I'll send you the standard message that I've been sending to everyone else. Fresh and Fit has moved the network to Discord, and I copy and paste the instructions on how to join the Discord and get into their server, which Noble sent to me. It's like 2 steps. Anyone who hits me up, that's what I send. If someone comes around and they're saying, I want to join Castle Club, I'm sending them that. If someone says, well, I want to be in your Telegram group, I'm sending them that first. Here's where they are. I sent that to one guy. He's like, I know about the Discord. I want to know if you guys are still up and running. And it's like, well, you know, we're gonna meet tonight and we're gonna figure out how we're gonna move forward to that. We do not want to siphon any members away from Fresh and Fit. We don't want to do it. That's not what we're here to do. So we have a lot of things we got to do. We got to rebuild. We have to reorganize. But the answer to your question is we send them the information. As a matter, I mean, shit, I think I might be able to put it in the chat. We send them the information, and I will continue to send that information for people who are looking to join Castle Club so they can join the organizations they want to join. We're not here to do that. Our mission hasn't changed. Our mission is to help men become the best versions of themselves, to help men improve. That is our mission. Our mission has not changed. So I'm going to go into, I just got my phone, guys. I'm going to see if I can post this thing in here. I tried to put it in there. Oh, it's too many. I tried to put it in, guys. It won't go. So the message is too long. It won't go. I tried to put it in with my phone here. So yeah, the answer to your question is we funnel all those people to Fresh and Fit into the Castle Club. You know, the mission is to help people, bro. That's what we're here. We're trying to help men. That's what we want to do. This brotherhood was built. Myron came to me and he asked me to build a raft. Right. And what we built was like a 60-foot yacht with all of the extras. Right. I did, like I said, I didn't want a dime. I told him I'd do it for free. I did it for free. When it's time to transition, like, hey, if you want me to continue to grow this thing and manage this thing, we're gonna have to talk money. We did. And it all got blown up at one point, you know, through the acts of a person. He was in here, right? Dude did what he did. And that is the fallout. This is all part of the fallout, and there are casualties. You guys were talking about Brother Colt. Brother Colt was our regional lead for the East Coast. This man told me on many occasions when he first got in, he's like, I'm so excited to be working in this organization, bro. He's like, I owe so much to the Fresh and Fit platform. They helped change my life. He's like, I went to some events. I met them. I was going through a bad point in my life, and this is early on, of course, with Fresh and Fit, and he was looking at the dating, relationship, the male improvement stuff, and Coach like, yeah, bro, because of them, I pulled myself off the sofa, man. I stopped feeling sorry for myself. I got out there, and the guy is doing extremely well. He has himself a nice career. He has side hustles, which are legit businesses. He's linked in and networked with some high net worth people. He's constantly doing his thing. He was doing all this for free. Coach was all about it. He couldn't wait. He wanted to thank Fresh and Fit, and for all this to go down, and for that guy, you know what I mean, to send that message to make him look bad. You know, that just hurts, bro. That just hurts. Like Colt has been kicked out of a community that he wants to be a part of. He was only doing what he was supposed to do, what he had been doing, and for him to pay this price is sad. But you know, that's the fallout, and those are the casualties. Like you saw the brothers who came up today and they spoke on this. They were casualties as well, right? There's no animosity over here. Ain't nobody over here trying to, you know what I mean? Like we finna go ride on these folks and none of that. Nah, you heard what I said. Myron and Fresh had every right to be upset with me. And the decision that I made that decision to cover that dude. I made that decision to cover for his lie. I'm not going to run from that. They have every right to be upset. They could do what they want to do. I built for them the yacht. Now, I'm not going to burn it down, bro. Like you got to burn it. Your yacht, you can do what you want with it, but I'm not going to torch it. You got to torch it. Right. And you know, when you do torch, there's going to be a lot of people who are mad. And that's what happened, man. And it was miscommunication. That was a big thing. You know, it is. I mean, I'm hoping that at some point, you know, like I said, in time, that things will, you know, change. I want these guys who really appreciate Myron. I mean, and Fresh, they want to meet these guys at some point. But like I said, and one thing I really want to be clear on, and Myron brings this up all the time, and he's right. Myron was willing to give us whatever we needed, however much time we needed to work this issue. When it came to fixing the problem, whatever, Myron was willing to do whatever it took to make this happen. He took time away from his day, like he was, his schedule is hectic. I told you they need personal assistance. Their schedules was crazy. He made time to make this happen. And when that shot was fired in the middle of negotiation, that was wrong. That was wrong. Myron was trying to work this out. He was trying to work this out. So I just want to throw that out there, bro. I want to throw that out there. Brother Dino, I appreciate you, man. My brother from over the pond, man. Appreciate you. My people in real life are telling me, like, bro, you ain't got to do all this shit, bro. These people ain't real. You ain't got to do all this. Man, look. And he's talking about what I'm doing now. Like, look, I'm gonna take 100% accountability for what happened, and I'm gonna move forward. Point blank, period. I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. It is what it is. Why was the decision to delete Myron and Fresh from the groups? The decision was made to do that because if Myron and Fresh were like, no, we don't care what you guys are going to say, we're going to delete this group, period. We don't care, which did not happen. Myron was working to fix this problem. The fallback was, all right, we'll start with those guys, Myron Fresh, Jada Carr guy, those two cities, Miami and Dallas. That'll give time for the generals to gather all the information and all the stuff that they wanted to save from their city group and possibly move it over. The thing is, Jacosta had the keys. Jacosta was the owner. So if he wanted to, he could have just got big and like, I ain't doing nothing, hung up the phone and it's done. All of the generals instantly removed any Fresh and Fit stuff. We put out videos to all the membership. This is no longer affiliated with Fresh and Fit or Castle Club in any way, shape, or form. Jacosta could have given ownership to each general, which I think would have been the best move. Give ownership to each general, which, by the way, he promised to do on his Zoom call the night before. He told all the generals. Tommy asked for ownership. Like, hey, can jacosta give us ownership? And I said, you know what? That's a good idea. Jacosta, you want to just go ahead and get the general's ownership? And he said, yeah. When Tommy and I confronted him a day or so later, he said he didn't remember that part. So just like I said, bro, I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm here to let y'all know what went down. Right? If you don't believe me, you can hit up Tommy. He can tell you Jacosta said, I don't remember that part. He did not give the ownership to the generals, which he could have. Like, hey, man, I gave ownership to all the generals, Myron and Fresh. You got a Zoom call with these guys tonight at 10 o'clock. Get them to destroy. Get them to delete it. Right? That could have happened. But now we're in the realm of woulda, coulda, shoulda. It is what it is. I appreciate all y'all, man. Thank y'all for listening to me. Like I said, I'm done. I'm just trying to. I want to look at all of see if I make sure I don't miss any questions. I'm just going through to see if I didn't miss any questions. Yeah, Myron made peace. Myron's not a hateful dude, man. Like when y'all see Myron on camera, that's the amped up version. Myron's not a hateful dude. We all get emotional. I got emotional on those calls. Ask Myron and Fresh. As Gary, their manager. Yeah, ask Gary. I got real emotional on some of those calls. Ask Jacosta. Right? I lost it. And I try not to do that. That's one of the things that I'm working on moving forward. I need to control that a little bit better. And I think I did. I lost it. If we'd have been sitting in the same room, bro, with the stuff that Gary was saying, again, Myron and Fresh were extremely respectful when it came to me. And I believe they still are. I don't know what's being said out there. I'm not like Jacosta jumping into every little space to see what's going on. I'm not that dude. I don't know what's being said, but I will tell you this. Myron and Fresh have been extremely respectful towards me throughout this whole point. From the moment I tried to cover that lie up, they've been right there respectful for me. Like, man, they was like, bro, we can't believe you did it. damn, bro, it was that, but it was nothing. It was no hate. It was no, they were no screaming back and forth, none of that. The only person who was doing all the yelling on the calls was me. I'm yelling at jacosta. I wish he would jump up here so y'all can hear how he talked. So y'all could just hear the word salad while he's sitting there trying to figure out what he's gonna say. I wish I can hear it. I'm screaming at him. I'm screaming at Gary, the owner. I'm talking a little bit of shit to Noble. Now, not a lot. Noble was respectful. I'm just talking crazy. A little bit like that comment I made about I don't care if the app will give me head on whatever. I didn't have to say that to Noble. You know, Gary was doing some stuff. You know what? I definitely I doubled down on what I said to Gary. You know what I mean? Like whatever. But Myron and Fresh throughout this whole process have been nothing but respectful towards me. Nothing but. I want to make sure that's out there. And whatever they say, however they move, you know what I mean? Like they're right. If they want to call me names or whatever, which I don't think they're gonna do. But the only thing I did want to clear up, it was no one siphoning money. There was no one taking money. There was no one taking subscriptions. I wasn't doing that. That wasn't on my mind at all. That didn't happen. Right. There were opportunities. Like I said, there's all these kind of things. There's opportunity for back end money. We were talking about perhaps doing events and then, you know, make money in the back end. It was those talks. You know, I was hitting up Fresh, like, hey, Fresh, I got people out here trying to get some life coaching from me. I normally charge X for it, but if they're a Castle Club member, I'll charge 50%. What do you think about that? Fresh was like, well, you know, like, yo, like the way he sent the text, it seemed to me that he wasn't, either he didn't want to be bothered with it or he didn't like the idea, but he said, go ahead. I didn't do it. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. So I didn't take a dime from anyone that got access from me, anyone who was doing the verification calls. I didn't charge for none of that. Right. And then as far as subscriptions goes, I wasn't even pushing this platform. Not until about a week ago with my local boys here and maybe 2 or 3 people who hit me up on Telegram and some DMs asked me questions. And I was like, oh, well, you know, if you want to ask a dating question, you know, I normally charge for that. But if you come on my podcast, just put it in the chat. I'll answer it for free because you're a Castle Club member. I was like, I don't want to charge these guys nothing because I was the back and forth with Fresh. And I was like, nah, you know what? I'm not even going to take any money off of any. This is they people. Right. And I did what I said I was going to do. So it is what it is, man. You know, as far as, you know, the reconcile thing, man, I don't know, guys. I don't know. You know, going to Discord is not going to be a good move. I told Myron that myself. I said, bro, I'm telling you. And even when we got to the point where, you know, after the lie was told, I'm like, bro, you can nuke these things. Like telling me to, you know, add jacosta to the chats. Like, bro, y'all can nuke these things, but the chats would be back up before the sun goes down. And they were. The chats were back up. And again, like I said, I got to talk with these guys and figure out how we're going to move forward. It is what it is. Yeah, I can't say that I take too much, brother Josh. I can't say that I take too much blame. I believe 100% of the blame comes to the person in command. I was in command. If you're in command, that means you're in command of everything below you, bro. Somebody does something stupid, that's on you. I've had to stand before the man when I was in the military and after my career as an air traffic controller. I've had to stand before the man so many times. And sometimes they were dressing me down and yelling at me for something I did wrong. And sometimes they were pinning medals on my chest or giving me awards, cash awards for things that I did right. It just goes with the territory, man. That's what it looks like to lead from the front, right? Like men, y'all need to understand this is what it means to be a man. Don't look for excuses, bro, especially if you're in command. It's you. And if you don't want to accept that, then don't accept the position. Don't be in command. So I appreciate what you said, bro, but that's just my take on that. I mean, I think I'm 100%. What is this here? There wasn't a decision to delete FNF from the groups. FNF deleted the groups themselves for a money grab because they could not monetize the original Council Club. That's not true, bro. That's not true. The only person who could delete those city groups was jacosta. He owned everything. He had the keys to the kingdom. He was the only one that could do it, irregardless of why. He was the only one that could do it. We got Brother Jordan here. Brother Jordan is the man. Colt, Jordan, and Tommy were the guys that are regional guys. Jordan's organizational skills are on par. This brother right here is solid. Brother Jordan, I want to give you the floor. Thanks for coming up.
How you doing, man?
Shit, all is well.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Man, I've been running around all day, so I'm a little tired right now. So bear with me.
You still
Yeah,
got that Aston Martin?
man. Yeah, I got to take it back in like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, just
Still
checking.
still whipping around. I went on a little chase for a second, man. But you know, this whole thing was comical. It was very, I would say, feminine. It was handled weirdly and poorly. Um, like I said, I'm not speaking on anybody else and their behalf or what they were doing or anything like that. But you know, when it comes to California, these guys have always been on point. My guys are dedicated guides. We had our meetup. We've talked all the time, and they didn't deserve to just get kicked out of what they built and what they were a part of. And that conversation, I wasn't on the previous Zoom call and everything right before we got on with Myron and them. So I have no clue about what was going on in there. I was busy addressing to my guys that, hey, this is what the deal is. They want everybody to move over there. The ball is in your court. I always tell my guys, you're your own man, you're autonomous, you make your own decisions, and we work together as men to build something great. It's always this talk about what the Tates are doing or his loyalty and all this other shit. And then when it comes down to just have a conversation with any of us, it just didn't happen, you know? He didn't bother to say, okay, let me talk to these guys one on one. Instead, he tried to get all of you guys on the Zoom call and then fucking sun everybody. And the fact that I know everybody came in here saying these positive words and everything. I'm from LA. I grew up in certain neighborhoods, man. We don't do that. If you want to talk to me, you talk to me like a man. And he came in there trying to sun everybody and all this other shit. And it's just like, I'm sitting here listening to it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was in and out. My sister it was her birthday. I was sitting there with her and everything. And I'm hearing this. That's why I wasn't on video. And then I come up and I say, okay, well, what was the plan? I say, what was the plan? Um, this dude Noble is hard to get in touch with. Like I've been actively telling my members, like, hey, we're gonna get an affiliate link for the show. We're gonna push it out. I never said anything about anybody signing up members and us pocketing the money. I never said anything about us making money outside of the group. I've always been on code with the image that they were always trying to build, a community of men that work together and stand by each other no matter what happens. And the fact that I built that, and then they said, hey, well, we're going to go and do and be over here. They could go to Discord, whatever. That's just what happened. Because you wanted us to foster a group of people who could work together, who have this like-minded mindset. I always tell my guys, you're warriors, you're leaders of men, you're gentlemen, you hold yourself with class and high morals and standards. And then you want them to just make these rational choices without giving us context. And all you do is just try to drag everybody who's in the leadership that you guys signed off on and talk to one by one while you were sitting there writing notes, because I remember him doing that. And just try to treat us like children. So I said, hey, like, bro, you're going to do what you're going to do, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And then well, you were there, and then he like got back around to it, and they're gonna say, hey, Jordan, if I tell you to shut up, then you're click. I hung up right then and there. And apparently after I hung up, him or his manager or somebody else seen that I left, and then they did that thing to where you're arguing with somebody and then you stop and then you see them walk off into a room and then they slam the door. And then as soon as the door slammed and you know they're going, and stay out. You get out of here. Blah, blah, blah. Like that. I was just like, somebody told me that. I was like, bro, I wasn't even in there. Don't try to put on an air for these other guys that you call generals and everything to make it seem like you're doing your Myron mode or whatever the fuck that was. It's crazy. I've held respect for this guy. I tried to never step on his toes. I tried to never step on Fresh's toes. All they had to do was have a single fucking conversation with me. I don't know. My bad if you guys don't curse on here or whatnot. But that's all it took was a single conversation. Be a man. Stand on your business and actually talk. If I was running this major podcast and I had all of these guys, I would sit there at different times, not all at once, not say, hey, we're going to plan all this and everything, and then I'm going to talk to you guys all at once. No, I wouldn't even tell you guys. I wouldn't even tell you or jacosta if I was like Myron. I'd call them, each one by one, and be like, yo, man, let's talk. And be like, what's up? Shoot the shit, get comfortable with them. Let me know, like, yo, like, how you like it over here? Like, what's going on? What are you guys doing? Oh, cool. They'll be happy. Oh, we're talking to Myron, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, fill me in. What's going on? Give me the info. And then now I have a better idea of like what's going on in my organization, as he phrases it. Nobody has been involved in the start. We were told to do what we were told to run our organizations and everything. I've kept that shit on point in California. I've helped out Houston, who flipped weirdly and acted weird about it. Seattle vanished. I've worked with Greg in Vegas, and I've Greg in Vegas, and then I've helped Tommy. I've helped everybody, international guys, all this different stuff, and it's just like we can't have like just the decency to have like a one-on-one conversation. So it's sad to see this go the way that it has. It's sad to see the way that it went down. I think there's a poor misrepresentation of people's characters across the board. Because like myself, I handled it professionally. I put together business plan, organization, and everything, and I laid it out the same way I'm sure Colt did, and Tommy as well. And it's just sad to see how it went. And then you get on, and then we're sitting there, and he's on his show last night, and he said, I'm the disrespectful one. When you try to tell another grown man to shut up, that you do not know. I'm like, I'm not one of these dudes, man. I'm not one of these guys that he could have this like type of trip over everything. I'm one of the guys that you come and talk to respectfully. The ones you can have like a solid conversation with and sit like men and look each other in the eyes and really break stuff down without a fucking camera on, without having any of your friends recording it, for none of your receipts, all of that shit. It seems like every time there's something going on with them, it's always like, oh, we got the receipts. And it's a fucking screenshot of like something that's out of context, that had nothing, that didn't have my fucking name on it, but it had Colt's name and it was out of fucking context. I'm sitting here looking at this like, this shit is hilarious, man. So there was no disrespect on my end. I'm always going to talk how I am. I'm a straight shooter. It's always going to be like that. But like I said, one, you don't think that you're going to just tell another grown man to shut up. I tell that to everybody. I tell that to men in my group. Be men. Be respectful. And don't let anybody try to dog you and dog walk you. I told that to jacosta. I say, you keep getting fucking bullied. And you need to learn how to speak up and stand on your own 2 feet. You keep getting bullied and tossed around. And you know what? It is what it is. Like, I got other shit in my life I got to do. I just got done, like, doing a bunch of work, some production work. I'm tired of shit. And,
Well,
yeah, I just happened to see this. So I just wanted to pop in real quick.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate you. There's a lot of people out there asking, are you guys still together? The short answer is yes, we're working on things. But here's the thing, guys. There are people out there who are watching this. We did a little bit of verification before, but what we're gonna do moving forward, you're gonna think you're trying to get on with the CIA, man. Like, we really gonna run you through it. We really want to see where your head is. At least that's what we're gonna talk about. That's what I'm gonna put out there. But that's just the answer to the question. Brother Jordan, I appreciate you. Brother Colt is in the building. I want to give Brother Colt the floor.
Hey, what's going on, DL?
What's happening, brother?
Nothing much. Another day in paradise as usual. Yeah, I was listening in. I wasn't going to say anything, but I had a few of the other guys shoot me a message. And from talking to a lot of you guys, I figured I'd just kind of air everything out from my point of view. I know my name keeps getting thrown around a lot. I do want to start this by saying there is no bad blood towards FNF's team at all. You know, a lot of the guys I've talked with, we all respect everything that they did. I still respect everything that they've done, what they've built in the past. So there's no type of animosity towards them whatsoever. In regards to the screenshot that keeps getting thrown around, I think you did a great way of breaking it down. A lot of the other guys have brought that up. At the time of that screenshot, when I sent that message to Jacosta, the general consensus of all the generals from the Zoom meeting we had prior was we were simply going to be moving over to Discord, but a lot of us want to keep the Telegram groups open. So we were no longer going to be affiliated with FNF. I put out approximately a 6-minute long video explaining that change. I encourage members to still go to Discord, but we are going to stay here in the Telegram groups. So moving forward, when the day started with everything kicking off, I'd mentioned to Jacosta, like, hey, go ahead and remove Myron, Fresh, Noble, Jay the Car Guy from the groups because we're no longer affiliated. You would put out a statement. It was kind of like your last order. I'd put out the 6-minute long video. And then we also put a message out to all the chapters that we are no longer affiliated. So obviously, okay, moving forward, we're not affiliated. They don't need to be in the groups. So that's the context behind that message. When that was sent, that was in between DL Saint talking with the team, jacosta doing his thing. There was a lot of treachery behind it. When we talk about the Zoom call that went down with all the generals, when that screenshot popped up, a lot of us were taken back by it because it was something that Jacosta had clearly shared with FNF that we just didn't expect. And when you guys do look at the message, it's taken from the perspective of group messages. From what Jacosta had told me, that was a screen recording of him deleting each of the chapters from what FNF had told him. That's what he told me, whether or not that's true. But the way I look at it, all of that's in the past. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do with these guys that are in these Telegram groups, I've had countless amounts of guys reaching out to me, asking me how I am, how the groups are we still out there? Are we going to go to Discord? I tell the same thing that you've been telling them, DL, hey, if you want to go to Discord, go to Discord. I had a Zoom call last night with my guys, and we'd mentioned at the end of it, if you guys want to be in both, you're more than welcome to. Like, hey, go over there, get that value. We're just simply trying to keep the brotherhood that we've already built. Jordan's over at the West Coast. I'm over here at the East Coast. You know, we're constantly talking at least every day. Recently we have. We're just trying to get these guys more value. We've built the brotherhood. We want to keep it going. And I hope in the future that a lot of this just clears out, the dust settles. At the end of the day, it's the internet. What I like to tell my guys, just like Jordan does, you're your own man at the end of the day. You're going to make your own decisions. You're going to come up with your own opinions, and that's completely fine. Some people may be out there and they may say I'm a snake. Some people that I know that rock with me say I'm one of the best guys that they've met, right? We're all going to have our own inner circles, and that's what your circles should be there for. They should be on your side. That's the whole point of brotherhood. So whether you're in the brotherhood of Discord or you're in the brotherhood with the Telegram groups, it's irrelevant. For me, I just want guys to get the value. That's what we built. That's what we went through. And moving forward, we're just going to continue to expand. DL mentioned that we're going to be vetting guys even more thoroughly. I already have some guys that I've reached out that want to get in that we're going to be talking with here soon. So the mission is still going to stay on point, just like it is with FNF. They're going to keep spreading their message and helping guys. This isn't about, who can piss the furthest. This is about who can help the most guys. And if we're both doing the same thing, then what does it matter what the politics are behind all of us? We can be mad, we can be upset. It doesn't matter. Let's just help guys and move forward. That's all I want to say.
That's what's up, bro. And I appreciate that. For you guys that are out here, like I said, this is the only time that we're going to address this publicly. You know, we want, a lot of people were hitting us up. A lot of people wanted that clarification. They wanted to know what was going on. This is the only time we're going to address this publicly. And I think Brother Colt put it best. We're here to help men become the best versions of themselves. We have this network. We have this brotherhood. And we're going to keep pushing forward. We are not competition. We are not trying to do all that. Wherever you can get this value, get it. Today in America, men need help. I didn't realize this until I came down into this world, fell down this rabbit hole. Brother Code, I'm pretty sure he'll back me up on this. Men today need help. And I don't care where they get it from. We want to give them the help. So with that, I'll let Brother Code go unless he has anything else to say.
No, I think that's about it. One thing I will make mention of, even though some of the generals have obviously went to Discord, some of us have stayed back here, I am super, super honored for all the guys that have kind of had my back, even some of the guys that have moved over to Discord. You know, we've all talked. I've talked with all of them. I've had one-on-one calls with these guys. So I do appreciate no matter what side you end up on, because to me, I don't view it as sides. I really do appreciate everybody kind of stepping in, defending me on that regard. So this is all I'm ever going to mention publicly with it. I'm not much of an internet guy with this stuff. So once this is over, I'm just going to try and give as much value to these guys that I got.
Outstanding. Brother Jordan, you got any last words? And then I'll finish up. I'll drop y'all down and I'll finish up.
No, yeah, I was going to allude to just what to aspects of what Colt was saying. This is the problem with the conservatism, the conservative party, independents, however you want to call it, Republicans, red pill space, all these different spaces like that. They keep factioning all of this up as if it's sides and these different groups, these different categories, because they might have slightly different beliefs. If there's a conversation to be had, there's always a place where you can find common ground. And the fact that we can't look at what this is as a whole, it was a men's group that we were trying to build and start together. And regardless of the fact of what was going on and all this little simple stuff that could have been cleared up with a conversation and talking to one another, there's men's lives and there's women's lives that need to be affected, and we need to help change those and make the proper decisions to go across the board and just say, you know what, our small petty differences aren't as big as the bigger picture in this country, individually, and in a group like this as people. And as long as people continue to have this mindset like, oh, we're at war, or we're divided, or you see what they did, or they're against us and everything, we're just going to continue to crumble, and our country is just going to continue to spiral. So we're just at a point that people need to let whatever it is inside of them go and focus on the fact that we're men, and men need to come together. No nation was created and no nation failed without men coming together. So that's all I have to say, man.
Wise words have never been spoken, bro. And that's why I'm in this. We're in this to help men. I don't care where they are politically. I don't care about none of that shit. What I want to do is help these guys become better men, and thereby we help our country and we become better as a whole. I keep telling you guys, man, men are the batteries that drive this society, and men aren't working. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. So with that said, I'm going to drop you brothers down. Thank you so much. Hey, guys, I know we got a meeting at 7. If y'all want to start that meeting, it's cool. I'm going to be a little bit late, as you can see. I'm going to be a little bit late. But I'll jump in the chat. If y'all going to do that, I'll jump in.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. You be blessed.
You too, brother.
See y'all.
Peace, brother. King Life in the building, man. What's up, King Bank? Yeah, man, there's a lot going on, but we got to talk, bro. For me to catch you up, you know, like they said in chat, you have to watch this whole thing, but bro, a lot has happened. There's a lot that's happened. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We gave jacosta an opportunity to come up here and say what he wanted to say. He ain't show up. It is what it is. That speaks for itself. There are a lot of lessons to be learned here. You know, and again, I want to stress this. Myron and Fresh did nothing wrong. In my opinion, they did nothing wrong. They simply reacted to a decision that I made, and they have every right to be upset with me. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all. There is no us and them. There's no fighting. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? We ain't clicked up. It ain't none of that. We're here to continue the mission. The mission inspired by the Fresh and Fit platform, right? I will leave with this. For those people out there who were saying that, you know, yo, Saint was out there trying to get the money or whatever. I just want to point something out to you guys. If I was out to get the money, right? Remember, I'm the guy that had everything consolidated. I'm the guy that had the keys dangling in front of him, man, just like in Lord of the Rings. The ring was right there. The precious was right there. And I said I didn't want it. Think about that when you guys are thinking about how this all went down. I could have called my lawyer and cut him in on the deal and say, listen, these guys want me to set up this platform. They don't have any paperwork done. My lawyer wouldn't even charge me. He's like, bro, make me a partner in this and I'll set it up. And we could have owned the city groups. We could have taken them to court and made sure that they didn't change anything while the litigation was going on. And they could have gotten bled dry. They would have been forced to pay 50%. It would have been ugly and horrendous. This is why paperwork is so important. This is why you got to do it on day one. This is why you don't want to broadcast ideas, because someone else can own it. And then you find out 8 to 12 months later that you working for them. So no, I wasn't trying to do that. I would never do that. I'm just not built that way. Thank God there are people out there working with us that didn't have the capacity or the knowledge to make that move, because they could have. But they didn't know. And that's a good thing. So it's not about the money. I could have owned it all if I wanted to. Right? So I just want to leave you guys with that thought. And if I wanted, think about what I could do on social media right now. Could you imagine Fresh and Fit's right-hand man exposes all? Iber and Preach. Fresh and Fit right-hand man, tells all about behind the scenes. Duke the Don, O'Shea, the Tree Lady. How much money do you think they would pay to get me over there and to just outright lie on Myron and Fresh like they do constantly? You know how much money they make just lying on those dudes? It's to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars, man. Collectively, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars a month that they get on views and stuff like that from social media, YouTube in particular, just making hit pieces on Myron and Fresh. If I wanted to do that, I could. If I wanted to grow this platform and have 10,000 followers in 3 days, I could. All I got to do is make up stories and say negative things about Myron and Fresh. But I'm not going to do that, because it's not about that. I respect them guys. I respect them boys. And this is unfortunate, but I made my decision. I was in command and I got relieved. And I tell you what, I've been relieved of duty before. Here's what it is. I've been relieved before, but I will do it again. I will do it again. Brother Mandrell, like, you didn't want the keys. That was the perfect man for the job. That means you're the perfect man for the job. Appreciate that, Brother Mandrell. I didn't want that, bro. So I guess we got all y'all questions in. Brother Viking Paradigms in the building. What's good, fam? Appreciate you. There are a lot of people out there who are sitting in the wings, man, and they don't know what to do. It's like mommy and daddy are fighting and they don't know what to do. All is well, people. All I want y'all to do is focus on your brother. Take care of your brother. That's all. Just take care of your brother. I hope I got to all those questions. Lady Navo, I do my best to get you in touch with Jordan. I saw you was like, hey, now I saw you, girl. I saw you. That holla, holla, holla. I saw you, lady. I'll let Jordan know. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you. We got 399 people in here right now watching. I appreciate you guys. When you go back and talk to whoever you talk to, man, just tell them this, bro. Myron and Fresh were not wrong at all. This is not their problem. There are people who have their, their takes on this. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, man, I let them down. I made a decision. I did what I did, and I understand how they feel on that decision. But I just, when that shot was fired, bro, that just ruined it all. Myron was willing and he was going to give us time to sort it all out. But once that shot was fired, it was over. And I made my decision, and that's that. So I got to go, guys. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for all you people who have never been to this space. Is your first time. Thank you. You guys are going to notice my day ones. You're going to notice the content is going to change just a little bit. We're still going to be talking about things from a realistic perspective, but we're not going to be using the word red pill as much. We're not going to be talking about the Mano Swamp. Now you see why Rich Cooper calls it the Mano Swamp. And again, that's not a hit on Myron and Fresh. You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the whole the world itself. But we're gonna do a slight course correction. We're gonna keep talking about what we need to talk about. And now we're gonna talk about finance more. We're gonna talk about the day-to-day, how to get through life, how to prepare for what's going on. We're gonna cover what's going on in the news. And yes, brother Dinosaur, now that we're doing this, I'm making this course correction. We're gonna talk about politics too. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna give you my perspective on how my take on things, and we're gonna have conversations with folks. Appreciate that, Brother King. Yeah, I just want to be honest and let everybody know what it is. And like I said, this isn't some Dr. B in the house. One of my brothers right here, man. Appreciate you, bro. I understand, man. Trust me, I understand. I'm here for anyone who knows me and anyone that came in contact with me while we was doing this process. I'm here for you guys. If you need help, I'm here for you. That's how it works, man. So here we go. My final thoughts on everything. My final little story for you guys. If you're day ones, you've heard this before, but we are double down on we want to help these dudes. We want to help those who need the help. So there was a man who fell into a hole. Dude's in a hole screaming, help, help, help. He's in a hole. I need some help. Somebody help me. People are walking by. No one's helping him. People are walking by. Finally, some guy walks by. He looks down. He sees the dude. The dude's like, help, help me. I'm in the hole. So the guy who's looking down jumps in the hole. He jumped in there. So the dude stuck in the hole is like, bro, why'd you do that, man? Now we're both stuck in this hole. And the guy who jumped in, probably was a paratrooper, said, don't worry, brother. I've been in this hole before. I know the way out.